The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Welcome to Prime Time, bitch. Yes, I changed the name just because I wanted to say that shit. Welcome in, folks, tonight. Welcome back to Tuesday here on WCBS. I've been away for a while, but if you watch us on Thursday, we haven't missed a beat. I might have been all over the country, even in your neck of the woods. But now I'm back on your TV, cell phones, and however you listen to WCBS on a Tuesday night. But I am not alone. Tonight we have a whole slew, a gaggle of guests, if you will. First off, you know him, you love him, all the way from the Ripperverse. Say hello to NDAndrew.
What is going on, Jeff? What is going on, chat? We're back! I can't believe it. It's been however many months it's been. I don't know. I wasn't keeping track. I don't know when I am or where I am half the time these days, but I am thrilled to be here. And we got a great show lined up for you guys. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight on a Tuesday. And this is gonna be the show to watch.
Indeed it is, but it's not a show to watch with just two men. First off, we're joined by our friend from the Great White North. In transit, it's the one, the only, the ScriptDoctor.
Hello, everybody. It is a mild rating here in southern Ontario, Canada, with a nice, cool 25 degrees, and the temperature is only going to get better. It's pretty looking like we're going to have a quote-unquote Indian summer. That's not being racist. That's just being factual. So happy to be here with you, gentlemen, and everybody out there in the chat to talk about some great news and some awesome comic book stuff.
Oh, of course. Now, folks, we're joined by two more creators. First off, let's introduce a man that we've streamed with more recently than our last guest joining us tonight. Kneel before Doomface creator, the one, the only, Aaron Sparrow.
Hello! I was going to wear a blazer because I wanted to be world class, but then I decided, since I saw the Mandalorian trailer and I'm so excited about the future of Star Wars, I decided to dig out an old Star Wars shirt and wear that instead. So here we go.
You're a better man than I. I don't even have access to any Star Wars shit around me, clothing-wise. There's Luke Skywalker on this desk, but that's a topic for another time. And finally, a man that we've had on this channel countless times over the years, but it's been a while, and we're excited to have him back. Say hello to Literature Devil.
Hello. Thanks for having me back on. I guess I should say, welcome back to Prime Time.
Yeah. Look, it's almost Halloween. I may or may not have been on a John Carpenter kick since we've had this show, Andrew, to the point where, I watched this movie, The Fog, 7 times, and then I went, I gotta buy it. So I've been on this, hardcore John Carpenter kick. I've watched them all recently, listened to a podcast. It helped me get through Stealing Solo 2, folks. That is why we weren't on the air, because I wanted to dedicate my time to make sure that this book is ready to launch this year. And when I launch a book, that means it's ready to go. So it's completely drawn, completely written, and about 70% colored. So in the coming weeks, you'll find out way more about Stealing Solo 2, The Power of the Farce. That's the official title. But folks, tonight we are going to tell you all about our creative titles. We have a special segment towards the end of the show. But we are world class. We don't want to make you guys wait. So let's jump into tonight's first topic. Now, guys, we may or may not have talked about John Boyega and Star Wars back when those movies came out, what feels like a million years ago. But now, it's relevant again, because since we've been live, I've met John Boyega. That is not a joke. We were at Dragon Con, and he looked at me like he knew me, and I didn't know him. But anyway, he's in the news because he's talking about how if he could redo Star Wars, what he would do. Now, I was under the impression, Aaron, since you're wearing the Star Wars shirt, I'll point you out. I was under the impression that everything that they did in that sequel trilogy was great, right?
Right.
Well, not anymore. So, let's pull up a picture of our old pal John Boyega, or as we call him, Yeah Boyega. But this is what he had to say before we start talking about this lackluster trailer.
I thought questioning the sequel trilogy was racist.
Oh yeah, it was racist. Isn't everything?
I thought Star Wars fans were racist. Wasn't that? That's what I was led to believe, at least a long time ago.
That's what I was told, even though
back when the Acolyte came out.
Everybody was on his side, but in saying that he got screwed and Finn as a character got screwed, but somehow we were all that made us all racist.
Wait, hasn't John Boyega been going back and forth? He hates Disney. He hates the fans. Actually, he hates Disney. Actually, it was the fans who are racist. Like, hasn't he been going back and forth? I remember there was some news about him where he's going, man, I wish there's something about black characters in Star Wars. I'm like, sir, you played Finn.
You played one. Yeah.
You played Finn.
And there were a bunch that came before you that were actually a million times cooler.
He was saying that, it's all like, basically all the black characters in Star Wars are insulting or something. It was something like that. And they're not dignified. I'm like, sir, you played Finn. Like, you played the most horrific, embarrassing black character in all of Star Wars.
You let Ryan Johnson make you a goofy minstrel in the second movie. You were just there all funny and wearing your floppy shoes.
Saying Ray.
It's true.
But I get it. I understand why he thinks the fans are racist. After all, we did make the decision to shrink him on the Chinese movie poster.
That was us. Yeah.
That was us.
us.
We took a vote.
That was my idea.
I have the email from Disney.
I sent out a survey and I said, yes, make it this. So they give you the options like, how big should John Boyega be on the poster? I picked the smallest size. Now, turns out everyone else did too.
Yeah, the 1x1 square was perfect. So, John Boyega has said that he would do things a little differently. Now, this is paraphrasing from the pop verse. I don't want to read you guys the full article because you might fall asleep. I did reading it. But if John Boyega could redo the sequel trilogy, this is what he would do. Luke, Han, and the other original characters wouldn't die. The first thing they're going to do is fulfill their story, fulfill their legacy. How do you guys feel about those plot points? Do you like him? Do you like what he's saying?
Bold, aren't we, sir?
I feel like he probably just watched, I don't know, a world-class bullshitters video from 2017 or 2018 and was like, hey, maybe these points are actually pretty solid and this is what Star Wars fans want. And honestly, it's difficult to take it seriously. As much as, like, I read that statement and I was like, yeah, I mean, I agree with literally all of that, but do you actually agree with literally all of that? I don't know if you do, because you kind of shown yourself to be someone who just kind of goes where the wind blows. I don't know if I can take him seriously at his word there. If he's being serious and genuine, cool, great. But I have no reason to believe that he is, just based on his prior behavior leading up to now. So look, man, you said the right words, but your actions have spoken differently up till now. To me, it just kind of sounds like a grasp at relevancy. And like, he's not doing squat right now that I'm aware of. Right?
It kind of
was
feels
a
like
Dragon Con.
he gets talking points the same way Jimmy Kimmel gets jokes, like off Twitter, off the internet, off of things he watches, like points other people have made, and he can claim them as his own. That seems to be what his strategy seems to be. Because what is it, 10 years later almost? Now he's making these points? Oh, very brave of you. How brave. How insightful.
You know what I think it is, though? There was that image that was released from, was it Star Wars Starfighter, with Ryan Gosling and that kid on the open sea, and there was that little blurb about when the movie takes place and how you could possibly run into new characters from the sequel trilogy. I think he's hoping, or he probably is in this movie, and he's just trying to build that goodwill, because this is the second coming of Star Wars. I'm wrong. It's like the fourth coming of Star Wars. But this is like Disney's second coming, and this is their attempt to win all of us back. They're like, hey, look, we're not going to put anything in this that you guys don't like. And they're going to try. And they're going to really fail again because they've already pissed people off. But that's why I'm thinking he is saying this shit. Because it seems kind of random that this guy from 10 years ago is now going, this is what I do to fix it.
Yeah, nobody's asking him what he would do to fix it. Nobody cares.
Star Wars...
Yeah. Fixing the sequel trilogy has been talked to death on YouTube already. Who cares? Anything he has to say has been discussed a million times already amongst Star Wars fans on YouTube. In the public discourse, it's why are you even answering this question?
Well, here's the other point that he made that I find interesting, but again, it's too little, too late. New characters wouldn't be overpowered. They wouldn't just grab stuff and know what to do with it. That was my biggest complaint about those terrible movies.
That's kind of a not so subtle dig.
I mean, it's essentially we found out that John Boyega has finally watched the movies. He was acting it.
I've never been in a film, but I can't. I assume you know what the whole story is because you've read the script, or at least your part, and you can kind of piece it together. But apparently,
Not a J.J. Abrams script. They're writing it as they're doing it.
No.
And they never finished, Rise of Skywalker, so we don't even know.
Think of all the bullets we've dodged since J.J. Abrams' career has shit the bed after Episode 9. It's like,
oh God,
he doesn't really do much. He's not going to be making a DC movie, maybe a Marvel movie. He's good enough for I don't know, Shang-Chi 2, right? Was that?
No, he's still gonna do Black Superman. That's totally happening. Just like
Superman
trilogy. Yeah, it's definitely happening.
Yeah. As Superman has come and gone, and now it's on streaming, I feel like DC is in its good place to keep moving forward, and keeping people like J.J. Abrams away is the right choice. Folks in the chat, hit thumbs up if you agree. No more J.J. Abrams in geek culture spaces.
I kind of clocked the Ryan Johnson trilogy as their version of Kathleen Kennedy is getting fired this year. It's like they keep talking about it, and it keeps like, oh, it's totally going to happen, but it never happens.
It came out recently that there was never even like a plan. It was just like Kathleen's like, you're going to do a trilogy, and he's like, yeah, I'll come up with some ideas for it, and that's as far as it ever went.
It turns out Ryan Johnson knew that was going to happen, so he started making Knives Out movies.
The first one was decent. That second one, though, did not like Glass Onion.
They're all horrible. They're all like this horrible, horrific insults to the genre. They are really funny though, because like every movie is going. There's always Benoit Blanc, and then there's always some minority girl that does all the work for him. The first one, there's the maid. The second one, there's that girl who's the twin of the one that was murdered. Like
Do
any is he just ripping off Inspector Gadget?
Yeah, I love.
He's trying to do like a brainless Agatha Christie. Like if Agatha Christie was really stupid. That's kind of what the Knives Out movie kind of are. I actually watched those movies to make my latest comic to know what not to do. So it helped out a lot.
I don't watch the Star Wars sequel movies to write the Stealing Solo books. I just know the pain I felt, and I just channel it into that.
No, I feel like that's a pretty decent way to go about it.
Yeah. I mean, that pain is etched on your soul, Jeff. So
yeah,
you
want to feel like Star Wars. You probably shouldn't watch the Star Wars trilogy.
There's lightsabers and shit in this one, so I went back to get the core of it. No land speeders or Jawas, though. Don't want to get sued. No shinning involved. But no, I like his talking point about, no overpowered characters. I do think, though, that was a reflection of the era that those films were created and released in, because I know it's only been a decade, but for some people that's a lifetime. But it feels like that era of, overpowered, rah-rah girl power superhero, whatever, no matter the genre, is dead. After the Marvels crapped out is one of the biggest flops ever, I think Disney got the message look, people don't want this crap. People don't buy this crap. So we're just going to stop with this crap. And this is as much of an apology as you'll ever get. They went too far. So I like to hear that.
Well, it's because not even women want this stuff. Not even women want Mary Sue girl power characters. They want emotion. They want cute little babies and animals. They want drama and raw energy. There's a lot of stories that women do like where the woman loses, where she is she succumbs to her own failures and her own mistakes and things. Women like that. So it's not that women need to have a woman as the main character. They don't need the woman to be the main character and also be perfect and beat up all the boys. That's just like a subsection, a very minority group of women that want to see these female characters beat up all the boys and be the bestest ever at everything. It's not. It's far away from the majority. Far away. That's why all these things fail.
Real quick, John in the chat. Are you the John? You changed your name, right? What's up, man? How you been? But I have just always rolled my eyes at those types of characters because it feels like the creators have an agenda. They really do. But I'm glad we're past it. And finally, John Boyega's last point, according to this tweet, is add in elements of the Old Republic and Force Unleashed. I swear to God, this is just him looking for internet brownie points. He's coming back.
That's all that is.
That's it. That's all this is.
Yeah, because what elements would you add in? I mean, from Force Unleashed, you just said that you don't want overpowered characters. Force Unleashed is extremely overpowered.
Yeah, Galen Merrick is an absolutely busted character.
Yeah, and it's, because you're playing the game, it's fine, but if you're going to incorporate that into movies or books or whatnot, you're going to in the larger expanded universe, before Disney got rid of it, you'd have to power him down a little bit because it's just too insane a power level. But it's good for the video game. And then Old Republic, I hope they never touch Old Republic. I love the Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic universe, and even the novels. And
I will scream if they ever touch those, because that is where I live and breathe when it comes.
Will
to...
you scream like Ned Flanders? Because I want to hear that, if you will.
only if they put drag shows in there, okay? Because they did with D&D. They did put drag shows in Waterdeep.
Wait, did they really?
Yeah. There's a campaign called Waterdeep Dragon Heist. There's drag shows in there.
I was flipping through some manuals. I went to Half Price Books while I was in Washington, and I was flipping through some the recent monster manuals, the 5th edition. And I was like, man, I used to buy all this stuff. I didn't play the game, but I bought the stuff for the art. And now, because it used to be cool characters and cool designs and things like that I wanted to look at and I wanted to have on my bookshelf. And now it's just a bunch of fey, characters dancing around, prancing around like they're, going to prom. And I was just like, who is this for? What has happened to tabletop? What has happened to Dungeons and Dragons? That's all stuff that you could put in the game if you wanted to, because of the way that the game is flexible. But why is it in your official handbooks? Why are you doing this?
Inclusivity, man. Come on. That's the new word of the decade.
Well, that's kind of what we're talking about, how they shouldn't be really in on the joke. They shouldn't be in the audience with us laughing at their own nonsense or whatever. They should make their own thing, and the fans can put in the drag shows and break the pornography of it or whatever. It's kind of like the idea of them trying to join in on the fans' fun is kind of like your parents discovering Twitter or Facebook. It's really, really weird, awkward, and terrible.
Stan, your grandma poked you on Facebook. Poke your grandma.
Oh, great. Grandma followed me on Twitter.
You think that's bad? My mom follows the channel on Facebook, and I'll see this random shit, and it'll be like, my mom's name likes this. I'm like, really, Mom? Don't like everything on the channel. Thanks, but come on.
You think that?
She loves you, Jeff. She's proud of you.
Well, it's not just me. She's in the Facebook thing, and it's like, some guy posts something about Sydney Sweeney. She's like, I don't know what I'm liking. I just want to help you get more views. Great.
Amazing.
Yeah, I got a good family. I'm happy. But no, I saw this stuff, and we had to use this as an introduction, kind of a jumping off point, because, folks, we're going to be expanding a lot of the stuff we talk about on this show in general. But you can't not talk about the wars during a week like this when you got a trailer, and last week you got a new movie coming out, and now you got this. I'm just waiting for Harrison Ford to get involved. It's like, yeah, I'm coming back too. Then I'll have questions, and then I'll probably watch it, because it's like, more Han Solo? Yeah, sure, why not?
I'm coming back to Star Wars. I'm coming back. I'll shoot the goddamn movie. Just shut up. Just give me the script and shoot the goddamn film.
Let's just lie to him and give him the Stealing Solo script and trick him into filming that.
There you go.
We'll just cut him in. I'll be like, here's 80% of the profits. I don't want to
totally a better deal.
If they do get Harrison Ford back as Han Solo, I don't really want to see the film. I want to see the backstage stuff. I want to see his interactions with the other actors and everything. Because what reminds me of is Tommy Lee Jones on the set of Batman, I think Forever, where he had to co-star with Jim Carrey. And then Jim Carrey told the story about how he wanted to be friends and be friendly with Tommy Lee Jones, and Tommy Lee Jones just hated his guts, called him a fool and a buffoon.
I will not sanction your buffoonery.
Yes,
exactly. So
I want that on a shirt.
I imagine that if they got Harrison Ford back to play Han Solo now, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of that going on. So I want to see that. I want to see that stuff on film.
I think he's just gonna get baked and film the movie. He's like, yeah, Chewie, let's go. But he's at lunch. He thinks he's talking to Chewbacca the whole time. That would be.
Well, Robert Meyer Burnett. Back in the '90s, Robert Meyer Burnett made made a film called Free Enterprise. And it was about these guys that, these nerds that really loved Star Trek. And they actually got William Shatner to be in it, much like, Stan Lee was in Mallrats. And I don't know. I think you could pull this off, Jeff. I think we get the funding. And you tell Harrison Ford there's enough weed on set. I think he'd show up.
We will get his fee, and he will have everything he could possibly want. It's like, and you get to sit in a chair for most of it, too. You just have to yell at us and tell us to fuck off. I really want to make that happen.
You look like a dick.
That sounds like his dream at this point, probably.
What if you make Harrison Ford play the leader of the kidnappers, and then you get someone else play Harrison Ford?
I thought of a really meta joke is it would be funny to get Kurt Russell to play Harrison Ford because he was up for the role of Han Solo.
Oh, yeah,
but nobody would get that joke. And
Or
I'm
get
like,
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, that's it. It's like every couple minutes, a different actor that was going to be cast to play Han Solo just replaces him and then comes back.
Have you seen the
There's been a switch just because he's wearing the Han Solo outfit.
have you seen the new Naked Gun movie?
Twice
Yeah.
in theaters.
At the end, he's giving that speech, and then he goes to the bathroom, and Batista's there continuing the speech.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was like, Batista, what the hell? That was a funny movie.
that movie flopping was such a disappointment because that was really well made.
It surprised me. I thought it was going to be awful, but it was actually pretty funny.
It had some good bits. I mean, one of the dumbest things that made me laugh is when he said that.
Coffee?
No, the coffee was great. Like I love that. Where every scene they're handing him coffee, and even when he's driving, he's getting coffee. But there was a line where he's describing Pamela Anderson, and it's that typical like PI narration where he's and he says, it's like she had a walk that et cetera, and a butt that seemed to say, "Hello, I'm a talking butt." And for some reason, that made me laugh because it was so stupid and like out of left field.
Liam Neeson. It was Liam Neeson saying it. It's like, "Hello."
He's so committed. Mm-hmm.
The part where he says she's got the kind of bottom that makes the toilet beg for the brown. I have not been able to forget that line. That was the weirdest line in a movie I've ever heard.
That was a good line. That was a good.
That's a line.
Yeah, folks, we didn't review it because it's a comedy. How can you review a comedy outside of saying it's really funny? You should go watch it. So check out The Naked Gun. Top 5 favorite movies of the year. I'm just guessing right now, but Superman was cool too. But we'll talk about that later. Anything else you guys want to say about Jan Boyega, or as we call him, Yeah Boyega here on the channel, in his comments?
I don't really think there's that much else to say about the guy. I mean, he hasn't done squat since the sequels wrapped up. He was, unfortunately, a forgettable character by the end because despite potentially being the most interesting one by the end of the first film, and now he's just kind of echoing and regurgitating a bunch of points that we were all saying back in like 2016, 2017, 2018, like, okay, are you expecting to get like seal claps or something? Do you want a medal? Like you're just saying stuff that we've been saying for, to your point, Jeff, damn near a decade at this point. Okay, so you're echoing what we've already said. You're not giving us any new information. It's not like this is giving us hope that what's Disney going to do? Be like, oh, wow, that was a really good idea, John Boyega. Let's have you come back and we're going to reshoot the sequels. No. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
They
because
probably should reshoot the sequels and just recast the original
Or
characters.
just shoot him into the sun.
That's what they should. Yeah.
Disney stands and their I guess protectors are their stances as such that they hate us so much and they hate the critics so much and the fans so much that they will never do that. They will never do that, no matter who says
Disney never admits defeat. They'll never admit that they did something wrong or that they screwed something up. They just we'll just paint over it.
Even if it's the correct thing to do, so they will never do that because that would admit that we won, that we were correct, and they can't do that.
Well, maybe one day it'll happen. Maybe hell will freeze over. Folks in the chat, I got a question for you, and we'll ask this on the panel too. You talked about Disney stands. Who are more obnoxious in 2025? Disney stands or Nintendo stands? Because I've been watching a lot of content about that stuff this week, and I'm like, yeah, Nintendo fans have really allowed Nintendo to become way worse than they should have been. Like, that's what happens when you get sycophantic fans. Then the company gets crazy, and then they're after every dollar. Darth Boson, will we win? We already have, my man. Look, people want to act like Disney Star Wars was sticking it to the fans. The first one was a hit, no denying it. The next one was not. It made way less. And then the last one made way less, and it cost a ton of money. When the Joker movie, that cost $65 million, beat the billion-dollar franchise, that was the wake-up call. And Solo flopped, and nobody remembers Rogue One that well, and nobody talks about these damn TV shows. So, yes, we won as fans. Now we're just stuck with garbage. And we have more. We have a new movie coming out. The first one in
abject mediocrity.
Yeah. I know, I'm excited for that.
Right? Like, I'm sure we'll get to it maybe, because, I mean, we're still talking Star Wars right now, but, like, I watched the Mandalorian Grogu trailer, and I was like, I want to like this, because I genuinely loved the first season. I liked most of the second season. There was like 1 or 2 episodes worth a damn in the third, and otherwise it was a giant wet fart. And I don't know. I watched your reaction video for it, and I was like, yeah, I agree with these sentiments, and it's probably something I'd consider watching, but I'm not like hyped for it. I can't remember the last time I was genuinely hyped. Actually, I can remember the last time I was genuinely hyped for a Star Wars live action. It was the first season of The Mandalorian. After they had given us that teaser, I was like, oh, this is a spaghetti western in space with a Mandalorian. Okay, I'm sold. I'm here. Give me something. They did, and then they took it away.
You know, that was the hardest reaction to do because I was like, I was awake. I had already taken care of like my morning routine, and I'm like, yay, this trailer. And I didn't watch it before I recorded my audio, and I was like pinching my leg to say something because I was staring there in a stupor like, it looks like the TV show. But let's try to be positive here because I don't want everybody to think I hate everything.
I mean, it kind of looks like they basically probably just cut and pasted the plot for their proposed season 4 down to a 2-hour runtime. Is what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this in just a minute. I want to check in with the audience because we have a word of the day and a few super chats that rolled in. And then we're going to jump into this next topic, the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. I have never seen a level of apathy hit the internet this hard. It's so funny at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Enrique Vasquez, thank you very much. He says, it's not Taco Tuesday or High Council Tuesday, but it's Prime Tuesday. Awesome lineup, Garbage Day button. Oh, I'm glad you asked me to press the Garbage Day button. It's today. You know how anybody that has Facebook gets those on this day, those memories that you pull up?
Yeah.
Well, apparently on this day, about a decade ago, I found Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 on DVD, and my life has never been the same since. We talked about Samurai Cop earlier.
Wow.
It goes Garbage Day, Samurai Cop in the room for schlockiest crap that has impacted my life. But Enrique, on WCBS, you ask and you always receive.
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
No matter what that guy is doing, he has the deadest eyes. Like none of the emotion that he's trying to convey as an actor ever reaches his eyes. It's fantastic.
He might be a full-blown psychopath.
He might be.
Aaron, it doesn't reach his eyes. It jumps over his eyes and goes into his eyebrows because every syllable he enunciates, his eyebrows go up. Like, I can't even do it because it feels like I'm having a stroke when I say it. He's like, too bad I didn't do what I had to do. And I'm like, wow, dude, that is some serious eyebrow training. So Eric Freeman, you, sir, are one of the most entertaining actors of the 1980s, and we'd love to feature you here on the channel. Give me a call. Clearly you watch.
By the way, Jeff, every time in your build-up to that you said on this day, whenever anybody says on this day, in my head automatically I think, I see clearly, everything is... Like, it just starts playing in my head.
Dude, it's funny you say that because I'm doing a slight revival of Good Morning Pop Culture during the Stealing Solo 2 campaign to boost numbers, and I always do on this day, and I'm making an on this date button. It's just going to be on this day, just like that, and then cut in so I don't get a copy strike.
I can't wait for that to come back.
A lot of people request it, man. Like I said, we are going to break records with this book, and I will go anywhere and do anything outside of self-mutilation or harm to other people to make this book break records. So, folks,
you have 2 years.
That left a lot of things on the table. I just want you to be aware of that.
I am aware of that. I won't break. Okay, it has to be able to be streamed on YouTube.
Okay, well
go.
that
takes a
narrows
lot
things
off
down.
the table.
There are some laws I'm not willing to break.
You specifically said YouTube and not Twitch, so yeah, that does chop things down a bit.
I don't know how to use Twitch. Literally, I just don't.
It's fun.
I've never.
I don't either.
Watch other people play video games. Our friend Shrebbles08 brings us the word of the day. Shrebbles08, you are so generous to the channel. I'm going to make you a word of the day button. I'm just going to get that rolling. I'll have that for next week. Maybe even on the podcast this Thursday. Who knows? But it'll probably have your name brought to you by Shrebbles08 because you are literally always bringing us the word of the day. And today's word of the day is very delicious, folks. I know it's 9:34 here on the East Coast. It's only dinner time out west, but it's never too late for a donut. That is the word of the day. So, a few donuts more. Stop or my donut will shoot. Donut Busters, Donut Wars, The Man in the High Donut, The Last Donut of Scotland, Super Donut. I want to watch The Last Donut of Scotland. It's like, it's just a great title.
That sounds awesome. The Last Donut of Stop. There's the next comic. Last Donut of Stop.
Hey, you write it, I'll draw it. We'll get it done quick. How's that? First quarter next year.
Jacob's Donut.
There you go. Is it
Sister Act 2, back in the donut.
Donut and the Whale.
Live and let donut.
Oh, man with the golden donut.
Honey, I Shrunk the Donuts.
The League of Extraordinary Donuts.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
The Last Donut of Scotland still got me. I don't know.
It's the winner. That's the word of the day winner.
It sounds so
Donut
dramatic. Like I could see like a William Wallace style thing or something. Like, you could take our glaze, but you can never have our freedom, or something like that.
No, the donut of Monte Cristo is not bad too. Isn't it?
Monte Cristo.
Monte Cristo sandwich.
Oh man, Monte
heart's still
Cristo's. Those sandwiches are so good.
See, it is dinner time around the West Coast, so everything is going to be like reminding me of food.
The donut of Monte Cristo, or Monte Cristo.
Folks, tell us if you're hungry from these donut titles. I know I already had dinner, but I hate Krispy Kreme donuts. Fine. In the morning, I'll go to my local bakery and grab a donut. I have to make
The donuts dream of doughy sheep.
Or Donut Runner. There you go. It's a
Donut Runner. That's a whole different movie. It's like
Donut another day.
And what was that game that everyone hated? Mirror's Edge, where you're a delivery person.
Yeah.
I can imagine being that, where you just deliver donuts, but in a cyberpunk world.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it should be in Springfield, and Homer Simpson's the bad guy. He's always chasing after you, trying to eat your donuts. You're like, shit, I got to stay on the run.
Well, I mean, I guess in this scenario, donuts would be illegal because then you'd be like a runner, and you got to deliver those illegal donuts to people.
It
like
takes place in New York when trans fat was banned.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
they'll never,
Donut Run.
I don't think would they ever really ban trans fat. I'm not really sure. That would like get rid of all their voters.
Well, I don't know. In another 2 months, they might be banning bacon.
Come and
They
take it.
Commentary.
You try and come and take my bacon.
What we need is like when I say something like that, we need to cut to like just Andrew, and then he just like turns and looks directly in the camera and goes commentary.
Andrew, record that for me. We'll turn it into a button for when Aaron's here.
Sure, why not?
Let's see. I'll do. Did you do a fistful of donuts? Because that just sounds tasty too. Shrubbles. Oh wait, since you brought up the other ones in the trilogy.
The good and the bad and the donuts.
All right, guys. What is your favorite donut? Everybody in the chat, let me know.
I'm basic as hell. It's literally just like either a simple glazed donut or the sugar ones with the crystallized sugar all over. You know, like
Those are
no
good.
extra stuff. Like those
Cocaine
are the
donuts.
only ones I'll have. Cocaine donuts? Is that what you said?
I mean, they're addictive.
Is that what that was?
Wait, is
The only
that what
difference
Donut
is
Run is
that
actually
they make you
about?
gain weight instead of lose weight.
No, you only have a powdered donut, and then afterwards you look like Tony Khan.
Oh wow, everything makes sense all of a sudden.
Let's see. We have some chat comments like Rosemary's Donut, Donut Impossible. Let's see. Mission Donut, The Donut Who Loved Me. Oh, Clockwork Donut, Reservoir Donuts, The Day the Donut Stood Still.
Donut
The
pussy.
donut who shagged me.
Spy Who Loved Donuts.
James Bond. Never mind. I would watch all these movies. Any other
Donut
donut?
finger.
Ooh, don't. That just sounds weird.
Donut finger.
James Bond has to stop a man who just won't stop fingering people's donuts.
Oh,
Yeah, he
God.
like walks into a bakery.
No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to eat.
That's awful.
Yeah, we should make that. We'll use one of those stupid AI programs. We'll just be like,
His
all
plan
right,
is
make some movie where
his
James
plan is to
Bond."
bomb a bunch of bakeries so that his donuts are worth more.
Well, that's what it is.
Then you got the Bond Girl cinnamon roll. You know.
There you go. I like it.
Or honey
No, she's
Troll,
got to be
like-
cinnamon buns. That's
That
what
too.
she's got.
Yeah, better.
Who's gonna play?
See, it's workshopping.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
it's-
this is what we're doing. This is story time, right? We're being creative.
It's the most creative show on the internet, folks. Give us a word, we'll give you a franchise. There you go. We are world class after all. Something that goes great with a donut is coffee, and our friend Sabrina Espresso sends in $1 super chat. Thank you, Sabrina. Appreciate that. Coffee looks like whiskey, and you are a moderator, so
The
appreciate
first
that.
rule of
That's
Donut
Matt.
Club: do not talk about Donut Club.
Jeff, that's Matt G.
Oh,
So, formerly
he was-
Taylor Swift, he finally saw the light and got away from that crazy bitch.
I don't know much about Taylor Swift outside. I have a strong distaste for her music. But
That's good enough.
Yeah. Overkill 161. What is up? He says the word of the day, Disney Afternoon Edition. Donut Tales. Darkwing Donut. Ooh, yeah.
Oh,
there we go.
it is. Aaron's
Donut.
eyebrows just went up.
Yeah, like a garbage day.
Also, Dough and Nut Rescue Rangers. Raspberry Scone. Oh, sorry. Dough and Nut Rescue Raspberry Scones. Okay, sorry. I was thinking like Chip and Dale. And then button number 77. You got it, man. Let's find you number 77. Where is it at? It is right here.
Did you see that guy accidentally hit that moose with his car?
No.
Holy shit. Jamie, pull that video up.
'90s Jim Carrey, man, he was something else.
On Saturday, I went and saw Batman Forever in theaters. It was the last Batman movie that I hadn't seen in theaters because about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month, they did 89 in Returns in a double feature. So I went and saw that in, it wasn't IMAX, it was like Dolby, whatever. It looked great.
Okay.
And then my friend's like, hey man, Batman Returns, or Batman Forever is being shown this weekend. It's the last one we haven't seen. So now I can say outside of Adam West's Batman theatrical film, I've seen every Batman film in theaters. And Forever makes less sense now that I've watched it again. Good movie, still enjoy it. But like, my
Because
complaint
when
was,
you're a kid, it didn't need to make sense.
Makes less sense. It's literally about the internet.
well, no, all I was saying is like, why does Batman code the Batcave for an intruder alert, and then it just opens up and shows the Batmobile and everything? Like, Batman, you fucked up, man. Like,
I
that
can
was-
give you two.
Alfred did all that. Alfred did all that.
There's a 2-word answer. Akiva Goldsmith.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Speaking
only
of-
write a
speaking of
character as intelligent as you are, and maybe fudge just a little bit above it. But yeah, Akiva Goldsman ain't no world's greatest detective.
Speaking of Batman, right here on the desk.
Which Batman is that?
That is Joker from The Killing Joke.
Ooh, I have studied that book a lot lately, if you know what I mean.
I love that story. I love that book. I know people retroactively like pretend to hate it, but I still
Because
think
they're
it is
offended that
a
Barbara Gordon got shot.
yeah. You know.
I don't take those retroactive criticisms seriously because you gotta, how do I want to phrase this without sounding like a dick? I don't care if I sound like a dick. Don't get offended and use modern sensibilities to critique old art. It's like, oh my God, Gone with the Wind, I can't watch that. It's so
Oh,
racist.
Lord,
Shut
yeah.
the fuck up. It was a 1939 film. Get with the times, or
Don't
get
watch
with those
it.
times. Yeah, don't watch it.
Yeah, 1939 film set in a different time, and it's just like a Song of the South. That by erasing that, what you actually did, you erased the first black actor to ever get an Oscar.
Yep.
That's what you did with that. So stop this and stop pretending to be offended. I'm going to say this right now, and this might upset some people on the internet, and I don't care. Getting shot through the spine and becoming Oracle is the best thing that ever happened to Barbara Gordon's character. And when she is not Oracle, and they brought her back, Gail Simone, of course, brought her back as Batgirl, she has never been as interesting or as good since.
No.
She became a far more compelling character when she had to deal with a disability. And also when you healed her up and made her Batgirl again, you took a disabled hero away from every person that's disabled. If you want to talk about representation, you took that away. So good job.
Well said. I have nothing else
But
to
at
add
least
to that
Barbara
point.
Gordon can now do Cowgirl. So
She could have anyway. I mean,
well, I mean, no arms at that point.
Oh God.
what's funny is I was sitting with Aaron Lopresti at a con once, and he had his head down. He's like sketching, drawing somebody's commission, and somebody came up and was like, you take commissions, and he's like, yeah, I still have some room on my commission list, and the guy says, okay, I want Barbara Gordon, but and then he leaned in and he goes, but can you draw her naked and in the chair? and Aaron, like, he hadn't even looked up. His pencil just stopped, and he sat there for a second, and then he just looked up, like, I guess to see if the guy was serious, judged that he was serious, and said, get away from my table.
Oh my god.
He should have been like, it's
Get out of
double.
here. Get out of here. Here's my email address, though.
It's not the first time that's happened. One time, signing with Silvani, who was the artist on Darkwing, exceptional artist, one of my favorite people in the world. We're sitting there and we're signing books or whatever, and somebody comes up and asks Silvani about commissions, and Silvani's like, yeah, I still have room, and and then the guy goes, leans in and goes, do you do XXX? And Silvani goes, you mean as far as my art goes or personally? Like, because everything
With a straight face.
Yeah, and then the guy's like super confused, and he's like, "Oh no, like commissions." And James is like, "No, no, I don't."
So, I do respect the nerve that the guy asked you in person. Like, writing an email and not getting a response back is one thing, but like approaching the artist.
If James wouldn't have been so quick on the draw, my response that I had that I was about to blurt out was, "Yeah, he can draw Vin Diesel.
Draw Vin Diesel naked in the chair.
He can draw Vin Diesel naked, but in Barbara Gordon's chair."
Well, all you do is a tasteful nude. You draw it, and then you shadow the rib cage groin area, and then you bring the shadow out over the thighs. That's all black. So
Well, you can do what
like
they did in the
a guy
Batman
wearing
Damn.
shorts.
Remember that? Remember the Batman Van Dam thing where they had like the outline of his dick?
Oh, Bat Dong? I have that book.
The Bat Dong one. They got rid of it.
You have her legs crossed, so you can't see anything there, and then she's just holding a batarang in front of her chest, and technically she is naked. You have fulfilled the request.
Well, there you go. I mean, hey, look, I don't want people to ask me to do that, and everyone's entitled to do it their own way. But John Byrne used to do it.
Yeah,
and I know it was before the internet, but
Jim
they're
Bell
like,
does it too, doesn't he?
oh, he does?
I think so. Yeah, I've seen some very sexy Catwoman that he's done and posted on Twitter.
Oh,
yeah. I think Frank Cho does it. I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it's a big deal when it's like tasteful. When people come up and they start like getting like really weird and specific with their request, it's like, okay, you need to leave.
Yeah, like if they ask for like vagina sideburns or something, that's too much.
I don't even know what that is.
Who now?
I think it just broke Andrew right there.
I have overheard
That's
some
the
weird
next
requests
week.
at cons.
I'm trying to logistically work that out.
It's like a band name. That guy's the lead singer for Vagina Sideburns.
What do you mean?
Aaron, I want that on a shirt now.
What do you mean?
So, yeah, no, I saw them open for Pathos at the Rathskeller back in '89.
They were awesome,
They were a
man.
Fish cover band.
They opened Stingleberry last month.
Oh, man.
The state fair.
Let's. I don't know what to do with that.
You know what? We're gonna do what we should do and move on. Our friend Shrebels08 has a
God.
request. Ask for some buttons. Ask for the new Buffalo Jeff in a sloppy 69. Well, I think the newest Buffalo Jeff is this one right here.
Who's that Pokemon? It's
Me, your old pal Buffalo Jeff.
I was hoping it was Mr. Gestapo.
That was unsettling.
It's nice to know that the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, I'll bring back Buffalo Jeff in the fall. I heard he's on his way back from Mars. So our old pal Buffalo Jeff will be visiting in town for Schlocktoberfest, here to scare Dion, a large black man who's afraid of a voice and horses. And the Undertaker's afraid of cucumbers, so we really can't talk shit about Dion anymore. But, whatever. Anyway, like an actual cucumber. Undertaker is afraid of cucumbers.
Well, have you seen the videos like they put a cucumber behind a cat and the cat turns around and like freaks out? I don't know. And the people are like, maybe the cat thinks it's like a snake or whatever, but like cats don't like cucumbers. And now the Undertaker doesn't either. That's weird.
Yeah,
So
the Undertaker is 6'9". I don't know what it's going to do to him.
That might be some like crazy childhood shit.
I was about to say, maybe there's some like weird shit back in his childhood that he doesn't want to revisit.
Well, he deserves it because he burned his parents alive in their funeral home and scarred his brother Kane. So
don't listen to Paul Bear.
No. Anyway, here's
Undertaker.
There used to be a guy at the Tournament of Nerds at UCB Theater in Los Angeles that would play Paul Bearer. And he would like, because they had various characters that would interrupt the show. Sometimes Skeletor would interrupt it and want to do like, he'd be like, "Is this the roast of Buzz Off?" And they'd be like, "Oh no, that's like next week." And then he'd be like, "Oh, my Prius is double parked outside." And then they'd be like, "Yeah," which I like the idea of Skeletor driving a Prius. But then they'd be like, "Should we let him do his material?" And the crowd would cheer, and then he would come up and he would do a bunch of roast material of the He-Man characters. And then sometimes it would be interrupted by Paul Bearer, and he would just creepily like walk along the audience and then just stop and like get really close to people and be like, "Have you done enough?" And just stand there like making them uncomfortable and then move on. It's really good.
Paul Bearer was a creepy bastard, but may he rest in peace. Shrubbles, here's your number 69 request.
Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof.
I don't know why I made that one, but I did. So
That's actually is the actor that plays Buzz, but dressed up as a girl, I think.
yeah,
No,
it's
the
a
anchor
guy
woman?
dressed as a girl.
It's a producer's
a guy.
son dressed up as a girl.
Yeah, it's something like that. What's they didn't want to insult any actual girls by saying, "Oh, look how ugly she is." So they just had a guy dressed up as a girl. I mean, back then it was a joke.
That's funny commentary.
Yeah, now it would be, like there'd be protests and
Now it'd be transphobic.
Yeah, it's
That
actually
should be
trans
transphobic.
now.
Oh no. Also, TLJ Screwjob, thank you. He says, started watching Batman 66 last week. The Riddler sues Batman and someone falls into the nuclear bat reactor in the first 2 episodes. Hashtag bat everything.
Yep,
Also on the
bat
Atomic
reactor.
Pile. That's the girl.
She's
dressed
Jill
up as
St. John
Robin.
from James Bond.
Mhm.
Diamonds Are Forever. Tiffany Case.
Mhm.
I love Batman 66. I need to get that on Blu-ray. It's
It's a great set, dude. Yeah.
picture quality
And
is excellent.
and the writing for it is brilliant because it's highbrow comedy. And it's also really political. It makes fun of all the hippies and also government trying to come up with like rehabilitation programs that the criminals are just taking advantage of. Like
how do you do that in the
Mayor
modern day,
Leland
though?
or Warden? Yeah, Warden Leland creates like the super villain, the super criminal baseball league, so that they could play recreational sports to rehabilitate themselves. And Joker uses a launching pad to get out of prison.
I remember that one. That was good. Yeah. The old Adam West Batman hates progressives and everything. And it makes way more sense because Batman is like a deputy of the law. So all these complaints, all these nerds have about Batman are addressed in the Adam West Batman show. Like how does Batman find villains? Because he's a vigilante. How do they get booked? Well, it's all answered in the Adam West Batman. He's actually a legal authority of the law.
Yeah,
yeah, so they can call him on the phone.
But the thing is, he's not a hardcore. He's a middle of the ground guy because there's an episode where he's going to a hippie fest to promote free love and putting flower decals on the Batmobile. So he's like the reasonable type of guy that wants to acknowledge the freedoms of opportunities of the United States, and he hates the supervillains that try to take advantage of that and pervert it for their own game. And he ends up going into these beautiful speaches, almost Kirk-like in style, talking about.
It's like the ultimate centrist. Like,
Yeah.
it's supposed to help everybody. Also, one of the common things in that show is that the villains will get placed into places of power, and their ultimate goal is to make crime legal.
Yes.
I was like, wow, California is run by a Batman villain.
It really is. Oh, I mean, come on. The guy looks like the Joker. He's just not as clever.
The best part is that the police are so inept. Like they desperately need Batman for just regular things.
Well, even in like the Tim Burton movies, like, a bunch of clowns are running, a bunch of circus folk are being crazy downtown, and the commissioner pulls up. What's the first thing he does? Oh, do the bat symbol. It's like, you don't have a SWAT team. You don't have any cops. Like it's just like circus folk running amok. You can get this under control pretty quickly.
Our budget got cut again.
On his squad car, he's like, "What are you talking about? Send the signal. It's just a sled on your squad car. That's nothing. If it like exploded."
We did something similar in Darkwing, in The Dark Knight Returns. We have all the villains; they've all been like work furloughed, and they're all working for the big corporation Quackworks. And then at the end, when after everything's gone wrong and and everything's like being put back together, Scrooge shows up to like basically he's going to decide what's going to happen to Quackworks because it's too big to fail. And he's got the line about like no more hippie work furloughs, like banging his cane on the desk.
Did you ever see the new movies that came out with Adam West Batman, the animated ones, like the Return of the Cape Crusader? I like the fact that they had Batman. Adam West is voicing him too. He was going crazy, kind of evil. And he was doing all the lines in the other Batman movies, like "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." Or this is a surgery, and I'm the surgeon. From the Frank Miller one.
Yeah.
But it's Adam West saying these lines, so it's hilarious.
I feel like with Adam West,
for Two-Face was pretty clever.
That was pretty good. I feel like with the Adam West Batman, though, you would immediately like, and maybe someone's already drawn this as a cartoon, but like you'd be like, "You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." And then it shows them at the farmer's market with the Joker, and they're getting nuts.
Like cashews are scooping them in.
Yeah, they're just scooping them in, and like they're both really happy about it. Joker's got his big smile,
I didn't think you mean these kind of nuts, Batman.
Do you think
actually, Joker, that is a legume?
And then it goes, "Oh," and then it has the credit roll.
Yeah.
You think we're ready for that kind of superhero movie again, or are we just gonna stick with like semi-realistic?
I want that one. I want that superhero movie back because that was awesome. Not every superhero movie needs to be gritty or realistic. Who are the real bad guys? We don't really need that every single time. We can have some fun every once in a while.
Yeah, but it's really hard to find like producers that would hire writers clever enough to have that level of fun and make it work for an audience. Like it's really tough. There are so many people in my sphere that don't even read books. and it's like, you have to remember, even though people call the 60s Batman camp, it really wasn't camp. It was way too good to be camp. But all of those writers were really well-read people who actually experimented in other genres and did other things than just watch television. I mean, Batman 66, Wild Wild West, those are two great shows with a lot of overlap in cast and character. And Batman 66 is way more talked about today, but Wild Wild West is brilliant because you got Victor Bruno. No, wait, yeah, Victor Bruno, who also was King Tut. That guy just stole every scene he was ever in.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, his King Tut was brilliant because he's like torturing Batman, and Batman's saying it's not working. And he's like, speed it up. And so they start getting more beads on the top of his cowl.
I think what killed people's memory of the Wild Wild West show script is that terrible movie from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, so bad.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters. I regretted it then. I wanted to see Inspector Gadget. Oh well, when you're 10 years old, you don't always get to pick the movies you want to watch, but that's a topic for another time.
I remember being psyched because Kevin Kline was in it, and even as a kid, like I was a big fan of A Fish Called Wanda. I thought he was really funny in that movie. Mm-hmm. And I'm just sitting there watching it going, "Oh, I hate this. I hate this so much." And then I was like, "Oh, maybe I don't like Will Smith at all." That was the beginning of my Will Smith hate.
Same. Like, if everybody that knows me knows like I think The Rock's cool, and as a kid I thought he was the coolest thing in the world. But before I liked The Rock, I liked Will Smith, Fresh Prince, all those movies, the music. I was on board. And then I saw Wild Wild West, and I went, eh. And I seriously, I didn't see Men in Black 2 in theaters, I, Robot. I didn't see another Will Smith film in theaters until I Am Legend, and I only went to see I Am Legend because I wanted to see the first 8 minutes of The Dark Knight. And that was the last Will Smith movie I saw in theaters. And I don't think I sat through I sat through Hancock, and that was the last Will Smith movie I watched outside of Bad Boys 3? 3. That's it. Like, it's nothing to do with him slapping people. That movie just killed all his cred. He went from making cool movies to shit.
Well, now that you know how he screwed Alan Tudyk on iRobot,
yeah,
like it really, like, leaves a sour taste in my mouth for even that film.
Yeah, Alan Tudyk's the man.
Yes, he is.
We got to meet him at Star Wars Celebration all those years ago in Chicago because all the celebrities were shopping, and somehow they let us in there. So that was kind of cool. But Anything else you guys want to say about Batman 66 before we roll into the inevitable boring trailer that is The Mandalorian?
What are you talking about? It's got me wearing a Star Wars shirt again. I'm so excited about the future of Star Wars, Jeff.
Everybody should
All
go
right.
watch Batman 66 with Adam West, Burt Ward, William Dozier production. Classic. If you want something that it stays very true to the character in the core concept of what Batman is, that his ethics are, and how he operates. The only difference is he talks way more.
Yeah.
Like that's basically it.
He smiles.
And, and I've seen Batman smiled in the comics a lot, especially in the Golden Age, or sorry, the Bronze Age.
And the good comics, yeah.
Yeah.
He smiles. I like when Batman smiles. I think Batman should smile. I don't think it's a thing Batman should avoid. I like the smiling Batman. I like a smiling Superman. And if you notice, the ends of those names have man on the end of them. So it's not just women who need to smile more. It's male superheroes too.
I mean,
I remember
the ultimate Chad. He watched his parents get murdered in front of him, and instead of dwelling on that and wallowing in his tears, he decided to do something with his life to prevent that from happening to other people. That's super cool.
I remember there's a comic where I can't remember if it was Grant Morrison, maybe it was Judd Winnick, but it's when Batman was dead and Dick Grayson had taken over the role, and there's like Two-Face is watching a video of Batman.
Final Crisis.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like first Final Crisis, before Dark Crisis, the crisis that.
No, Aaron, you were right. It's when Dick Grayson took over because they recognized him because he's smiling. In the
Two-Face is like, that's not him. And they're like, how do you know? And he's like, he's smiling.
Smiling, yeah. I actually really love that moment.
I did too. I thought that was really good.
I remember that guy. That was what, 15 years ago? No, more than 15 years ago.
Clearly, like we all remember it. It's stuck in our head because it was such a that was a good moment.
It was
I
late
could still
2000s.
see the image. Yeah. Back when I was happy to go buy comic books every week. Now I kind of buy them every once in a while.
In fact, as I'm always able to do, I've got Battle for the Cowl right here.
Ooh.
Oh my God! Come to think of it, Final Crisis was coming out when I was at Boom.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you ever see that whole interview with Frank Miller where they're kind of like asking Frank Miller, so Frank, how do you think that Bruce Wayne, tortured, depressed, dark, brooding Bruce Wayne, is able to go out every night to be Batman? And Frank Miller's like, I don't think he's depressed. I think he likes being Batman. I think I think he might be a little grim, but I don't think he's depressed, because being depressed makes you not want to do stuff. Like being depressed actually makes you kind of sit around and be lethargic all day. So his idea was that Bruce Wayne is not necessarily depressed, or he might not even be unhappy. He might be a little grim, but he likes being Batman. He clearly enjoys being Batman. He gets something out of being Batman. There's some fulfillment he has and needs to be Batman. So this whole thing about he's depressed or dark and tortured, maybe he is a little bit, but he's not. It's not as extreme, or at least it shouldn't be as extreme as a lot of people want it to be.
It's not an anchor that holds him down. And then the other part too is, if you really want to complement the Batman character, especially if you're doing a long form story, you got to have Gotham become slightly better as a result of his actions, so that he can see that what he's doing has meaning. That
otherwise, why does he keep doing what he's doing if it's not?
Yeah, because I've heard other writers. I think even it was Grant Morrison saying that Batman's Sisyphus. Like everything that he does, it always just comes back to reset to zero. And that works for serials or comic books, like certain short run comic book series, or even like sitcom format television shows. But if you want to tell like an epic tale, like a Hercules type of story for Batman, you have to make him win at the end. Like overall, like Gotham has to change for the better because of him. He has to be the inspiring character where once he gets rid of police corruption, the tides turn in the favor to make Gotham a city that is not to be feared anymore if you want to live there or move there.
It can even be smaller victories, so that orphanage now, those kids got adopted, there's just, he has to improve the life of somebody within Gotham.
Yeah, like he'll never get rid of all crime, but ideally you kind of want to make it like, that the 5 major mob families, they no longer operate in Gotham, but they're still like organized crime, but it's nowhere near as paramount as it was before because of Batman's efforts.
I want that in the movies. I want this sense of I don't know. I don't think all Batman movies need to end with either kind of dark or kind of downtrodden. Because we've had so many of these damn DC movies that are just I don't know, I want to cry at the end of the movie, metaphorically speaking. I think we're in a good place with DC for the first time in what?
I
12
think
years?
so too. Because if you can't show an example of why Batman is needed, then it's going to be really hard for us as an audience to be on Batman's side when everything is always just as bad as it was at the start of the first story we just saw. Because now you're going to be asking, well, how does Bruce Wayne not see that what he's doing isn't really helping in the long run? Because he's clearly doing this with an end game in mind. I mean, it might take his entire life, or whether he lives to a ripe old age, or if he dies, through a freak accident or a punk gets lucky with a gun. But either way, he's doing it with a goal. And if you don't write that strategy and that target in mind when you're writing the character, then what's the point of him at all? Because Superman's more of a first responder. He's there to help in emergencies and stuff. He's not trying to change Metropolis in any way. But Batman is clearly there to try and change Gotham for the better.
It's something that Nolan did well in The Dark Knight is when he had Harvey Dent saying that, he's trying to inspire us. He's trying to motivate us to join the fight. He couldn't, he doesn't want to do this for his entire life. How could he? He's trying to, set an example. And I think that there is something very true in that.
Mm-hmm. He just wanted some Rachel. That's all he wanted.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Would you throw away your Batman career for Maggie Gyllenhaal? That's the question of the day, folks.
Someone in my theater, when he kissed her in the film, someone in the theater said, "Why is he kissing the Scarecrow?"
Wow.
I don't think she's like gross looking or even bad looking. I just she doesn't look anything like Katie Holmes. Like you couldn't pick someone that kind of looked like Katie Holmes.
Yeah, like you didn't even try.
No. It's like, who do we know? Oh, Maggie's not doing shit right now. You're in the movie. She didn't even audition. She just showed up and was like, all right, here you go.
Better actress than Katie Holmes, but yes. not on Katie Holmes' level as far as attractiveness.
Sure.
Not someone that two men would really fight over, especially prominent men like Harvey Dent and Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah, no chance.
I mean, I'm vapid. If I was Bruce Wayne, I would just keep with the models.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman, they would fight over Maggie Gyllenhaal.
I just want to cut when Joker goes, "Well, hello, beautiful." I want people in the background to be going,
"Ooh, who's he talking to?" Right? Like, where?
Adama sends it, not Adama. Shout out to you. I see you in the chat. TLJ Screwjob says, watch the Mask of the Phantasm documentary, and Kevin Conroy said he sees Bruce Wayne as the Mask. Also to Script's no fans argument, Kevin Conroy wasn't really a fan.
He became a fan after doing the role for the first 12 episodes after those recordings.
100 years. I don't know. He did that role for a very long time. But I think Kevin Conroy portrayed him as such in the animated show, because you watch the animated show, like the Bruce Wayne voice is always a put-on voice.
Yeah.
Like the Batman voice is his real voice, and he puts on the "Oh, hi guys, what's going on?" every single time he has to be Bruce Wayne. But when he is Bruce Wayne, he's talking to like Superman, or he's talking to like Robin or something. It's a Batman voice, and then he's in the cowl Batman voice. So the Batman voice is his real voice.
Yep. Yes. But the thing is, the Batman persona, he doesn't talk to criminals the same way he talks to Alfred or Dick Grayson or Commissioner Gordon. That's the core part of the character. He may be wearing the Batman mask, but that is who he is underneath. And Kevin Conroy was always capitulating to the mass appeal of the 90s, where everybody's saying, yeah, Bruce Wayne has to be the mask, as if it's some sort of brilliant revelation to the character. But it's not. If you break it down into the psychology of human beings, Bruce Wayne has a core personality, and he leans into Batman as a role in one regard for his mission, and then he has his Bruce Wayne that he puts on as a deterrent. But at the end of the day, the guy that is at the core of it is the real character itself, and he's in control of either of those roles. And you get to see him when he's talking to Jim Gordon, when he's talking to Dick Grayson or Tim Drake or Alfred. That is who his character is. But when he's talking to a criminal, whether he's interrogating them, or if he's into the moment where he has to comfort them, like in the Justice League episode where he comforts Ace before she dies, that is not Batman being Batman. That is Bruce Wayne's heart kind of coming through him doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes him such a fascinating character. And he's not an easy two-dimensional psychology example that a first-year college student looks at. He's a very deep, well-rounded character, and that's why he complements all the other characters around him, regardless of if they're in the Gotham City universe or if they're in Metropolis or Star City or the Justice League Watchtower or anything there. He just adds that extra depth to all those conflicts and all those relationships.
This show makes me want to watch Batman. I spent my weekend watching Batman, but now it's like, Well, shit. After the show, I might pop on an episode of the animated series or two.
I won't say why, but I've been rereading a lot of Batman comics lately for research purposes, we'll say. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, no, when I get on these streams, like it always makes me want to go, okay, so when are we wrapping up? Because I got to go write. Like because we start talking about story, we start talking about character and things like that, and then it gets me pumped up to get back to it.
I've got like my notepad app on my phone pulled up just in case I get an idea while we're talking.
I start doodling when we talk about this shit. I'm just like, all right, let's draw the world's worst Batman drawing.
This is the way.
I mean,
well, that's a good segue.
Yeah.
A good segue to a bad trailer.
Well, we will segue right now. Xavier the God says, "Welcome back, men and Andrew." That's a dig.
Oh,
that's a dig. Ouch.
Now, what did you mean by that?
I didn't write it. I just read it.
That's rude.
TLJ Screwjob, thank you. He says before he took the role, he wasn't a fan.
That's true.
Now, is it Kevin Conroy that was? No, was he roommates with somebody famous at Juilliard? Was that Robin Williams or was that Christopher Reeve and Robin Williams?
So Christopher Reeve and Robin Williams were roommates at Juilliard. Robin Williams dropped out, but Kevin Conroy was in the same class as Christopher Reeve and Robin Williams.
Ah,
okay. I knew all three of those guys were tied together in some way.
Small freaking world. I did not know.
Another fun fact: a number of the voice actors in the DCAU were all guest stars on the television series Murphy Brown, which also had a bunch of writers that were fans of DC Comics,
including Michael Rosenbaum. I only asked because he played Wally West in Justice.
No, because he hadn't started acting by the time when Murphy Brown was.
That's
on.
true. He was probably too young at that time.
But
I forget.
Kevin
He was
Conroy-
like in his early 20s when he took on that role.
It was Phil Lamar, Kevin Conroy, Susan Eisenberg, I think was one. The guy who voices Martian Manhunter, I think he was in an episode also. And also, fun fact, Murphy Brown's apartment was the same exterior shot used for Diana Prince's apartment in the Wonder Woman television show.
How about that?
Yeah,
I can count the amount of Murphy Brown episodes I've seen on one hand. My grandma watched that show, and I was always like, well, I'm going to go do something else.
I saw a lot of them, but I can't remember any of them.
Didn't they smoke weed in one episode, and that was like a watershed moment for the show? Like, they got baked on one?
That was after the breast cancer season scare, I think. There's an episode where Bob Dole commented on Murphy Brown being a single mom. Scott Bakula.
Oh, yeah. That caused a big furor.
Yeah.
TLJ Screwjob, Murphy Brown was a sitcom in the early 90s with Candace Bergen. She was a new reporter?
Yeah,
it was
she was
kind of like the
news
Mary
anchor
Tyler
and
Moore
reporter.
show, but not.
And her father was Hollywood royalty. He was and believe it or not, he was Hollywood royalty for being a ventriloquist. And if you go back and watch any of the footage of him being a ventriloquist, he wasn't a good one. Like
No,
you
Charlie
could see
McCarthy
his
was
mouth
weird.
moving. Yeah, I have a Charlie McCarthy that I got from my friend's mom. She had it
Now,
for years,
Is
and I used to.
is this show turning into like who's got the weirder crap in their collection? Because you're gonna win with that one.
Y'all are definitely going to win with that one.
For some reason, he's in a weird Western outfit and not in his traditional Charlie McCarthy outfit. And the reason that I have him is when my friend Marie's mom passed away. That was like like I used to go like once I realized she had it, I was like, "Why do you have this?" And she was like, "Oh, it's just something I picked up over the years." And so I would bring it down like on holidays, and I would just sit it on my lap, and I named it Maligno. And I would make it say like really horrible things, like over like as things like he would just like have him lean over and be like, "Sometimes I watch you sleep," and then just like go back to like his happy little face, and
wow,
just really weird things. And so that was like a special thing. So recently they were cleaning stuff out, and they were like, do you want this? You really want this, don't you? And I was like, I really do.
Remind me to never get on Aaron's bad side because he will torture me psychologically. Just don't share your fears with the Aaron Sparrow, or else you'll regret it, folks.
I mean, he's a jerk, so.
Yeah, that is true. Jeff, I want to play a game.
Dude, Saw, what a letdown of a series.
Mm-hmm.
We'll save that for Schlocktoberfest. It's funny, folks. We're having a great time not talking about the Mandalorian trailer.
We got to get to it eventually.
We should create a show where we tell them we're going to talk about stuff, and then we skirt around every topic, and then we didn't want to hear it anyway, right?
We find every possible and take every possible opportunity to skirt around the actual advertised topics.
The actual advertised. It's like being in a group, everybody's smoking weed, and you're there to talk about something specific, but you keep getting high and easily distracted by something else.
Ooh, geez.
I mean,
doing it without the drugs.
That's comics aficionados every Saturday.
That's true. I've watched the show. I've been on the show. I actually love being on that show. That was fun.
That was fun.
But it wouldn't really apply to me because craziest thing I did was a maximum strength Tylenol one time. Which, hey, that's topical.
You're gonna need a Tylenol, maximum strength. You might even need a big suppository to get through the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer.
Commentary.
Yeah, right.
The Mandalorian, is a very hot topic back in the day. But what was also mentioned back when the Mandalorian launched? Low Infant Cub, which is a fantastic manga epic that was well known and well parodied everywhere. Fantastic, and I think that the Mandalorian show would have been way better if they kind of stuck closer to that formula.
Yeah, it's when it became here's what I liked. When it started out, it was the Mandalorian, Cara Dune, Carl Weathers, and Grogu, and they were like their own. That was it. Those were the characters, the core characters, and you had like Queel and a couple other people, but they found good chemistry right in the beginning. Mm-hmm. But then the next season, it's like, well, we're going to introduce this person and Boba Fett, and then they eventually introduced what's her fucking face,
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan.
You see, I didn't actually mind them doing Bo-Katan, but the storytelling just in general for the show just did this, and I was like,
and then they destroyed
that.
They destroyed Mandalorians as a culture. The stuff that Karen Travis did with the Mandalorians in the expanded universe novels is so good, and the ideas that Filoni had for it is so not nearly not only not as good, but actually actively terrible. That third season when it's like, oh, the Mandalorians are supposed to be these great warriors, but they're all just standing around next to a lake where they know monsters come out of. And then they're shooting their cables into it as if that's going to do a damn thing. Just like their strategy, every war strategy they had for these monsters that are on their planet through the whole thing is ridiculous. It was just really stupid writing, and it just ruined them. As I was like, I can't see these guys taking on the Jedi. They'd get their asses kicked. They're idiots.
What's genuinely remarkable about that is I've finally now seen all but the last 3 or 4 episodes of Clone Wars. I hadn't watched that up until this year. And I've seen the whole bitch, other than the final couple episodes of season 7, which is the final season. And there's a lot of this is kind of meh, but there's also a lot of really good stuff in there. And it's like, you know what? Dave Filoni really is a one-trick guy. He can't hold on to a good idea and just keep it good. He has to find a way to muck it up somehow, genuinely, right? Whether it's, artificially trying to push a character that's this character's story's told. It's done. It's over. Let's move on, please, a.k.a. Ahsoka. Or utilizing something that there's already great lore to work with, like Karen Travis's stuff with the Mandalorians. He'd had some cool stuff on Mandalore, and then you take a look at that, and then you look at, just to your point, the third season of The Mandalorian, and you're like, the discrepancy here is baffling. It's like you are just kind of a really perplexing person as a storyteller.
No, he is Vince. To bring it back to wrestling, as we always do, he is Vince Russo. It's like when he had George that had to filter his ideas and what he wanted to do, he had to filter it through George, and George had to approve it. You got some good stuff. When he was left to his own devices and he has no controls, you get Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah.
Same true for George Lucas and the prequel trilogies. When you don't have someone there giving him a little bit of pushback, you get Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. And then with the only reason that Revenge of the Sith is so good is because he had to basically hit the ground running and then compress another movie's worth of story into this one just to try and get to the end game that he had in target. But that's basically because Rick McCallum, as good of a producer as he is, one thing he could never say to George is, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
You got to have somebody who says, no, that's terrible.
Yeah, he was able to get the money. That's great. But, you could have elevated the quality of the prequels by a good margin if you had just given some pushback. Hey, can we get, I don't know, a second pass.
Should
on his
Anakin really
dialogue.
be 8 years old? I mean, just does he really need to be 8 years old?
Yeah, does he have to
Yeah.
be? Like, you're already telling us that the council's already telling us he's too old. I'd buy it if he was like 12 or something, right?
Like, make him an actual spice smuggler as a navigator on a spice smuggling ship. That's interesting. And it's also a little bit of a truth to what, Owen told Luke when he was asked about his dad. He was a navigator on a spice freighter. Guess what? Spice is illegal. Oh, look at that. He's a pirate. Your dad was originally a pirate, and then he became a great Jedi warrior, and then unfortunately, he fell to the dark side. So he started in an evil place. He became good, went back to evil again, and then was rescued by his son to become good during those last moments.
Well, the mom didn't even really amount to anything, because it's like he goes back to free his mom, and she's just been like, raped by sand people and then dies.
Yeah,
and it's like so that story thread like doesn't and I understand that is in George's mind this is the inciting moment where he just really goes off the rails, but you could have done that 100 other ways. I don't think that the prequels have a bad story. I think there is a good story in there.
Yes.
But it needed to be refined. It needed to be polished. And as you said, Andrew, the big flaw in those movies is the terrible dialogue.
The dialogue, man. I'm a green writer myself, but looking at that dialogue and watching that dialogue, even when I was a teenager, and I wasn't even a preteen yet when Phantom Menace came out, but I was
10.
But I was
10.
in.
We're the same age.
Yeah, but I was in like middle school and then high school when the other two came out, and like, woof. Some of that dialogue, man.
Dialogue is so important, and it's the thing that I hammer on with everything that I edit and everything that I do. Is it's like you have to craft dialogue that feels natural, that feels like something someone would actually say, and conveys the information that you need it to convey. And so much of Lucas's writing is just convey the information, and it's like these are things that people would never say. I mean, you go from even in Revenge of the Sith, you go from. I sense a plot to this, the dark side surrounds the Chancellor. I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi, and then he's also, later.
Yeah. Well, to that point, he's also not an actor director. Like he does not there's at no point, especially with the second two, because I will say that the dialogue feels way better in episode 1 than in the second two. Outside of Ewan McGregor, because Ewan McGregor was just actually trying throughout the entire trilogy, but outside of him. It at no point feels like any of those actors were ever told, hey, let's run that again. Give me more of this and less of this. Instead, it was just let's deliver this line like it's a cold read. And we're going to go with that, right? We're moving on, right? Cut.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Well, the other part, too, that George Lucas doesn't really quite do with his dialogue is that one of the tricks that I like to use is a person should only speak when what they say makes sense to them from their perspective of getting closer to whatever goal they have. They're only going to say something if it gets them closer to the goal. And if they don't have that, you're literally just giving us exposition for something that might not be relevant to the rest of your story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about this? What about we have every character in the room, because we need to have diversity. So we have someone of every race in the room, and then we're going to do that thing where everybody says one line around the room, and I love that in movies.
Oh,
my favorite.
Nothing pisses me off more than that. I was watching one of the Mission Impossible movies, and they're doing that in the room, and I'm like, oh my God, shut up. This, because it feels so Neil Breen to me, where it's where people are just sitting around and going, virtual reality mind hacking. And then just someone else will say, Homeland Security is ready. And you're like, what does this have to do? What are these people talking about?
It's like,
we don't like the modern writing trope.
Important.
You don't like the modern writing trope where everyone has to deliver quips and the script is not, the dialogue of each and every script today must be 90% quips.
Mm-hmm. The Whedon effect.
But Joss Whedon could do it. He could do it and make it work. And it's just it's bad. Everybody blames Joss Whedon. It's but Joss Whedon didn't say, hey, everybody copy me, badly, any more than Frank Miller and Alan Moore said, everybody copy us in comics and make them all grimdark and deconstructionist.
Well, yeah,
no, that's more of a
because
motor.
when Joss Whedon did it, he was doing it with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and it made sense because she was a teenager, and it was supposed to be there's supposed to be a teenager doing a job but not taking it seriously, or that she clearly doesn't want to do it. So it was his way of conveying that kind of young, youthful, rebellious nature, and not shrugging it off, very 90s teenagerish, and made sense in the setting. But having adults go around quipping to each other every second of the day does not necessarily make sense all the time. Like it made sense when it was teenagers spouting these things, but like superheroes and like people who are just supposed to be like in positions of power, adults being very who are supposed to be in these positions, these serious positions, quipping 90% of the time isn't really cutting it. It doesn't really feel legitimate.
No, because quipping is a sign of the immaturity. And the growth of the character is when that diminishes because they're starting to take on more responsibility and seeing consequences of their actions. And what's sad is that because it's such a powerful voice, I mean, again, you have the people that copy Joss Whedon and Stephen S. DeKnight. You have the people that copy Quentin Tarantino. All of these people are really just kind of amateurs trying to emulate that which they know is popular because people up above are asking for that thing. They're like, I want that Tarantino voice, but I'm not willing to pay Tarantino for it, so I'll find someone that can do a mediocre version of that.
I'll get Dollar General Tarantino.
No, essentially, it's like Temu for writing. And the worst part is that you have a whole generation of writers who grew up watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, Battlestar Galactica, and now they're being brought into the science fiction field of film and television. And that's why it's got such a familiarity in that style of being quippy and immature, all for the sake of like superficial levity. But it doesn't feel authentic to the character because we haven't actually got to see the character. Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, there are people who watch and are diehard fans of Buffy the Vampire Slayer who have no idea that her real name is Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Like
News to me.
It's shocking. But they love it so much, and they've ingested all of that, which is it's the only frame of reference that they have of how a written show should be or how a hit show should be. So that when they write the script, someone is reading it, their assistant is telling their producers like, oh yeah, this person, they write like Joss Whedon, they have the quippy dialogue, it's fun, it's great character, audiences will love it, and they're like, great, good, let's put it on the air. And then you watch it and it just becomes a derivative, and now that entire style of writing that is was originally unique to Joss Whedon is oversaturated in a big part of the entertainment industry, and now it's no longer special and it's no longer fun. And what are we looking for now? Well, we're looking for something that's different from it, but people are afraid of different in this generation because different leads more often to failure than success.
Yeah,
That's a true story.
Blood Terror says that they never noticed bad dialogue in the prequels. Would you like Andrew and I to run through some of it for you?
Oh man,
Count me in.
Like,
Killing younglings. He couldn't even break. He broke the scene. He was laughing his ass off.
I hate
like
sand,
this.
it's coarse, and it gets everywhere.
Although
Sith Lord, are you sure?
Oh no,
So
that's my favorite. Is after two and a half movies of talking about the Sith. And saying the dark side surrounds the Chancellor, Anakin comes in and goes, "Guess what? The Chancellor's a Sith Lord." And he goes, Samuel Jackson goes, "A Sith Lord!" Like it's the first time he's here for this.
Lord? Like a lord? I thought he was like a Sith person or a lady, but a Sith Lord.
A Sith
I was
Lord.
hoping it was a Sith
Well, he
lady.
also holds the position of Chancellor, so that clearly gives him Lord status.
Mace Windu's like, "Ah, shit! I was hoping it was a Sith lady." I could get it with
How
the
does it
seducer.
You know.
That's how you know Lucas did a bad job, when you can take Samuel L. Jackson, who
Right?
had already starred in a bunch of awesome movies, and like I
Phenomenal actor.
I remember the hype for episode 1. My uncle worked for Pepsi, and he got all the promotional stuff, and he's like, "Do you want it?" So I have like a life-size cardboard cutout of Mace Windu, and I was like, "This guy is gonna be awesome. Samuel L. Jackson's great in everything
He's got,
he's
like,
in. He's
2
cool."
lines.
And yeah, and I'm like, okay. And then you get to the next one, and he's like stone-faced, and then you get to the third one, and he's stone-faced. I'm like, why couldn't he just like show emotion? Is Nick Fury? He at least gets to be himself and be Nick Fury. And I like, well, outside of Secret Invasion, it was good sometimes. Let's just
Haven't watched
I can't
it.
kiss my
He had
Never
his
will.
moments.
Well, he's trying to play the wise, sedate Jedi, and I get that, but that's not what you get Samuel Jackson for.
No.
Well, not only that, like even Obi-Wan Kenobi with Alec Guinness playing it, he was wise, but he had charm to it. Like Jedi are not supposed to be stoic and emotionless. They're supposed to be wise, experienced, and they're trying to make the best out of a bad situation.
Ewan McGregor pulled it off.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, both Obi-Wan versions did, like they had charm, personality, while also feeling very Jedi-like.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
made me
Mace
not
would have
like
been
the
a
Jedi.
perfect fit. Mace would have been a perfect fit in the last Star Wars movie, the 9th one, where he's going to yell at C-3PO and say, "Sith, motherfucker, do you speak it?" Because he couldn't say the N-word or whatever.
I mean, does it have any bearing in Star Wars?
Well, I just love the I just love. I think it was Mike from Red Letter Media, but he's telling the story of how Anthony Daniels was always going to George Lucas and being like, "Oh, this would be a great moment for C-3PO to have a heroic moment," and George is always just like, "No, he's just always scared. Like, just shut up," And it's like, and it was the right call. It was the right call because C-3PO's heroic moment was, oh god, that Rise of Skywalker movie. Oof.
I've seen it once. We did a live stream for it, and I never watched it again.
I saw it once. I kept my promise after The Last Jedi because I walked out of The Last Jedi and I said, that is the last Disney Star Wars that I will ever pay to see. And I had a friend at the time who got me onto the lot to see Rise of Skywalker, which I didn't want to do, but she was like, "Come on, we have to do this. We have to go through this together. Like, let's do it. Come on." And I was like, "All right." And then she said, like, during the film, she could feel like the anger radiating off of me. Like, she's like in waves. She was like, "You were just like."
I was so excited by that movie because I had all the guys from the podcast come to Cincinnati. We got drunk, and then we did a live stream. We were just like ready to go for that movie. I'm sitting there laughing like, this is gonna be the best show ever, because the movie was garbage. When she like screams and like puts her hand out and she like shoots force lightning and destroys that ship, I was like, what the fuck? This is dumb.
She
like,
was all the Jedi though.
They're trying to play. Is she evil in the third movie? In the second act? Like, come on now. That shit you put in the second movie, not in the second act of the final film.
You weren't the only bad guy either.
The only way you could have salvaged it, and they would never do this, and I'll explain why, and you guys can tell me if you think I'm right or if you think I'm wrong. But the only way they could have salvaged that is they needed to turn Rey evil in the third movie, and then be like, and we're doing 3 more.
Yep.
That you needed to turn her evil, you needed to turn Kylo Ren good, so then you had like a role reversal, and then you could set up a new trilogy that could actually be good. But the problem with Rey, as is the problem with all these characters that came out in that era, is once you decide a character is representative, they are not allowed to do anything interesting. They're not allowed to have, especially the female characters, we're not allowed to have flaws. They have to be Mary Sue's. They have to be good at everything. They have to be better than the men. They have to, they can't have anything, because then what are you saying about women? Because she's representative of women. It's like, no, she is a character. The fact that she is a female character should have it shouldn't play into real world politics at all. Make the character interesting, give her flaws. Like, I was very, I didn't like The Force Awakens, but I was very forgiving of it, because I said to myself, Disney just spent $4 billion on this franchise. This was a really play it safe play to kind of reestablish everything. Rey's power level is ridiculous, but the second movie is where you're going to do something where she's going to, make a mistake and get somebody killed or have some kind of personal loss, or much like Luke, her hubris is going to get her hand chopped off. Something bad's going to happen that she's going to have to learn from. And then Last Jedi came out, and it was like, nope,
none of that.
Aaron, correction, she got a scratch in The Last Jedi. She got a scratch.
No, she got bonked on that. She got bonked on the head with the lightsaber because it was a funny moment. It was totally inconsistent.
She got a lightsaber burn on her arm by her shoulder. That's what happened.
Oh, yeah, she learned.
Yeah, look at that. Real traumatic.
If Disney wanted to redeem people, they should put her in a movie, but they should treat it like Psycho, where they promote that Rey is the star of the film and that all this shit's going to be about Rey, and she dies in the first 8 minutes, and you're just like, what the fuck? And then people,
which audiences would cheer for?
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm like, yeah, you tricked me. Thank God. I feel something again.
What you need into Mortal Kombat Mortal Kombat Armageddon, where in the first 2 minutes she just gets her neck broken.
Oh yeah, Johnny.
It really does feel like they were going to make Finn the main character, and they switched it to make Rey the main character, because it would be really interesting to have Finn be the main character, and it feels like he's kind of the sidekick, but we know he's the main character. So Rey is the one that kind of is trying to think that she's going to be the hero, she's going to be the Jedi, but then it's Finn. And then maybe she dies. She's the one that kind of sparks. She gets Fridge. Would be Fridge Rey. It'd be kind of funny. And then she becomes the catalyst for his journey.
I wouldn't have. This channel probably wouldn't exist, because if he was the Jedi, I would have been like, okay, I can see, redeemed stormtrooper, now a Jedi. Let's see where this goes.
We're just doing Kyle Katarn kind of.
Yeah.
Without Luke
now
around.
it's just some random girl that's like, well, I live on a desert planet, and I've
never seen that in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, I said Mortal Kombat. I said Mortal Kombat Armageddon, didn't I? Mortal Kombat Annihilation. What was the second movie?
Annihilation. Yeah,
Annihilation. Yeah.
Shout out to you, Marco. Thank you for watching all the way from Switzerland. Hopefully you're Gonna pick up a copy of Stealing Solo 2 because that is gonna be internationally shipped this time, folks.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that. I told you.
Can't wait for
breaking
my
records.
copy.
We got to get the whole world in. You know, America's
Let's do
great.
it.
Canada's fine some days. But no, we got to get... we put the world in world-class bullshitters, folks. So be on the lookout for that. But thank you, Marco, for watching all the way in Switzerland. We love your chocolate and your neutrality.
That's actually quite funny.
But no, let's talk about this Mandalorian trailer before we go off the rails. Like, we have literally talked everything.
I was gonna say before we go off the rails, we've already gone off the rails. Like, this is hindsight now.
I know it's weird that talking about the Star Wars sequel movies is suddenly more interesting. We found a way to make those movies.
Wow.
I guess we're dissecting them. Look, I'm gonna have a 10-year anniversary here on the channel for the podcast and stuff, but we'll have a 10-year retrospective on The Force Awakens and what damage it did to not just Star Wars but to entertainment, because it may not be the first legacy sequel that's like a reboot cool or whatever you call it, but damn it, it's the worst one because it did the most damage. But it brought you us, so I guess there's a positive.
I think we're gonna have like a 10-year retrospective on this trailer by the time we start the trailer.
Yeah.
I don't think I could agree more with that.
Well, let's talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu. So the trailer dropped yesterday. It's like 2.5 minutes of action scenes, no narrative information outside of they watch a hut and a battle, and then I guess the monsters escape, and then they have to fight the monsters and corral them. And then it's going to be the Baby Yoda show. It looks
Din
like
somehow has the Razor Crest again. I thought that blew up in season 2.
It's got a yellow stripe on it, Andrew, which means it's an all-new ship.
Oh, well.
Which means Hasbro can sell you a whole new one.
And look, this is an instance where if it's cool enough, I might be convinced, because I genuinely loved the Razor Crest. I was sad when it blew up in season 2. But then...
it was dumb.
But then,
I had just gotten mine from HasLab.
But then he got the modded, like the kitted out, like an engine like jutting out of the front Naboo starfighter, the N1, and I was like, oh, like if there was anything you could do to make me like a ship more, it was this, because the N1 starfighter is actually my favorite single-man starfighter in all of Star Wars.
It doesn't make sense for a bounty hunter, though.
No, none whatsoever. He can't put people anywhere. It makes zero sense. It just looks cool.
But guys, he's no longer a bounty hunter. He's now taken on this baby, and he's a good man. What the hell is this show or movie supposed to be? It keeps changing as they want to make it more cutesy. Like, I get it. We've all seen Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. Oh, we're going to make it family-friendly, so they're not going to use their weapons. That was a mistake, but...
Stupid.
You took away the edge, because... And it's a Disney problem, because George Lucas, no matter how crappy his dialogue was or how stupid some elements were, the edge of Star Wars was never lost. It's a property for everybody. People, he even will say, oh, it's for kids. Is it, though? Because it's got decapitations, amputations, you kill your family. Like, it's got a lot of heavier shit.
He says it's for kids just because in every single one he has one character that is clearly meant to just make the kids laugh.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's for kids. It's for boys. So, it's okay for boys to see that stuff.
It's okay for boys, but it's also very grim fairy tale. Like, Brothers Grimm fairy tales are pretty dark stories that most parents these days would not read in its an authentic entirety to their kids, because Hansel and Gretel, you know, they're kicked out by their parents, they're lost in the forest, they get captured by a witch, then they kill the witch, and then go back home and find out that their evil stepmother is missing, and have a happy ever after. You know, that kind of promotes murder your stepmom if she's being mean to you. Like, that's the moral of that story.
They also shouldn't behave or else they get kicked out of the house and get eaten by a witch almost. So better behave, kids.
Yeah, it also tells you, you know, hey, don't accept candy from strangers, even if they're in a candy house.
Don't eat apples. Ever.
You ever see the movie where Jeremy Renner had diabetes from being captured by the evil witch in Hansel and Gretel?
Oh,
I've seen that Hansel and Gretel movie.
That was like was that in the 2010s that came out?
Yeah.
I actually did.
Yeah, it was him and like Gemma Arterton, or however you pronounce it.
Yeah, it was like Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters or something.
Yeah, that was that sounds right.
I didn't hate that.
It wasn't great, but I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would watch it before I'd watch Mandalorian season 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'd watch it before I'll watch this Mandalorian and Grogu movie.
That's fair. That's fair.
I will see this for the channel. I will take one for the team, but I won't like it.
Pay for a different movie, Jeff. That's what you do. You pay for a non-Disney movie, and you just go into Mandalorian and Grogu.
Okay,
that way, you're not giving any money to this machine.
So I have a Regal Pass that automatically pays each month, and so when I go to see a new movie, it costs like 50 cents. So I guess I have to give. I'll figure it out.
How does that work? I wonder for the movie ticket. Like, how do they split that with the studio when you've got those Regal passes? And I'm curious.
I never thought of it, but I've had it for 5 years, and it's been a good value. This is not a commercial, folks. Don't mistake it. When we have real...
No, get your Regal sponsorship. Get your sponsorship.
I have literally never tried to get a sponsorship. I just was like, yeah, we got the audience. I'll go get sponsorships now.
Guys, Jeff wants to tell you about his favorite game, Raid Shadow Legends.
Yes, right now, if you sign up by using your cell phone and download the app, you can get 25% off your first DLC purchase by using code WCDS.
Yeah, get 20,000 silver.
Because if you're gonna play a mobile game, you want it to be world class.
That's right.
Yes.
Or, if not, World of Tanks. So let me tell you about this.
Yes. That's my game. I want to sponsor World of Tanks forever.
You'll be world class, get World of Tanks, right?
Didn't they put the Cobra Hiss tank into World of Tanks?
I don't know.
I didn't see that commercial. I've never played it.
I think they did, and that almost made me sign up. Like that was like I was like, wait a minute, but then I was like, oh no, I want more G.I. Joe content in there before I sign up.
You guys like you and the guys over on the 3POA podcast, you're all getting me into liking G.I. Joe. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm a little too young for it to, like, matter. Because when I was little, it wasn't on the air. And there was G.I. Joe Extreme, but nobody really talked about that. And then when I was in college, those shitty movies came out. So it's
yeah,
like,
those are bad.
Yeah, dude. The first one just rips off Star Wars. Like, structurally. It's literally Star Wars. I went and saw it in theaters. I was like, now they're going to go fight this giant thing. It's like the Battle of the Death Star. It was terrible. But I digress.
Did you like when they blew up the Cobra iceberg and then all the ice started sinking into the ocean? Because that's what ice is famous for, is sinking to the bottom of things.
I completely forgot that happened because that's like, what is that? Cowboys and Aliens. It's a movie that I saw, but I don't really remember outside of a couple vague moments. Or Battleship. That was bad too. You guys remember Battleship with Rihanna?
Oh, God, yeah.
You know what? I'm going to be real with you. My dad and I saw that in theaters, and we were like, this is kind of dumb fun. I'm here for it.
I don't hate it. There's legitimately no reason for it to be a Battleship movie.
Yeah, there's no, like, why call it Battleship? There's no reason. You can call it anything else. That's it. But yeah, that's probably it. Like,
wait till you see the Monopoly movie. That's going to be balls to the wall. It'll be aliens.
Oh man, I'm going to hold off on all those jokes.
The Monopoly movie needs to be.
It's like already Hollywood.
No, the Monopoly movie needs to be like what Clue was in 82, 83. But we're not going to get something like that.
You want 6 endings?
Well, 3 endings.
This. Yeah. I love Clue. That's a great movie. I met Christopher Lloyd at Dragon Con, and he was super cool. And everybody was going on about Back to the Future, and my buddy's like, or Nick on the show is like, man, Clue. And he just lit up. So if you don't talk about Doc Brown to him, he will talk to you about shit. I brought up Dennis the Menace and how he makes me uncomfortable, and he just smiled. I was like, oh,
I mean, I would ask him about Taxi.
Yeah, Taxi would be great.
You know, the Back to the Future actors we met, he was tied for the coolest. Jennifer was cool because she was really nice to me, but Billy Zane wasn't that friendly. I don't think he wanted to be there.
Really?
Billy Zane was in Back to the Future?
Yeah, he was one of
Biff's. Yeah,
goons. I've met Billy Zane 3 times. He's always been like super friendly to audience members and fans. I think if you probably brought up the Phantom first, then he'd probably respond a little.
No, because they drew, like, you know how they got the tables? Somebody took out of tape and made the Phantom's head. Like, his handler made that. He was all about the Phantom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he loves that character.
I thought he did a great job. I fucking love that. I have the action figure. His head looks like a grape. It's terrible.
He's moving. He's in that movie. Like, people don't realize it, but he's very much moving like the old serial actors. Like, he really, like, you know, is like, the performance is really, really good. And, you know, just to bring it full circle, co-starring Christy Swanson, the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Who still hot to this day.
Yep. Still a smoke show.
All right, so we watched this Mandalorian trailer.
Jeff's determined to just push
This is
through.
like the fireworks
only way,
factory. We're never
Guys,
getting there, man.
guys, I gotta let. The only way out is through. Okay.
All right.
Let's just do it.
This
Let's
will.
make it. Let's make it painful or painless. Excuse me. We'll take the image off screen so people don't have to suffer, and we'll. There we go. We'll all. Not me. Shit. We'll all go back to our normal size.
Just like I know whose show this is.
Yeah, I'm that guy. Let me tell you. That's why we used to have 8 bullshitters on the show, and now there's only 4. Because I told them no, they just didn't show up for 8 weeks in a row, and I said, "Well, guys, I'm taking this seriously. Sorry, that's literally why they left." There you go, folks. There's your inside baseball. All I wanted to ask you guys is, do you think this Mandalorian trailer is going to move, or this movie's going to move the needle at all? Because Disney, this is all entertainment. I'm not just going to lump this in on Disney, but like Netflix with Stranger Things. Anything nowadays that costs so much money, it seems to take forever to make. And we live in a culture where attention spans are shorter than ever. People don't remember the Hawktua girl. Like, all this shit comes and goes.
Oh, wow,
It seems like
yeah,
a big
I
deal,
did.
and it disappears. Mandalorian hasn't been on the air in what? 3 years now? 2 years? It doesn't have a movie out for another like 6 to 8 months. I don't really think that there's that pull anymore. Like, the kids that were watching it a couple years ago have probably moved on to Fortnite or other shit that kids are into. And the Star Wars fans that are our age and older are like, it's fine. Like, people are going to go see this movie day one, but I don't think this is going to be a $1 billion hit. I think this is going to fall short of like Fantastic Four numbers where people are like, wow, Disney really fucked up. Like,
Well, the
this will
problem,
be one.
I think the problem is like Disney right from jump, there was something wrong. Even when like there was this, you had all these different news outlets saying, Disney or Star Wars fans aren't like arguing or fighting over the Mandalorian. Those some were still, and it's weird. Like the fact that was being acknowledged. And Disney was not striking while the iron was hot. The fact that they did not have Baby Yoda merch ready, and so like I remember because I was a store manager over at GameStop at the time, and I was like trying to look at like upcoming potential stuff that we were going to be getting that was Star Wars related. I was like, why is the only thing that we're getting that's Baby Yoda? Because at the time he hadn't been named, merch related, like just like a freaking cheap ass screen printed T-shirt that we're going to overcharge people for by $5. Like, what is this? Why are you guys not capitalizing on the first thing that it seems like Star Wars fans actually give half a damn about? And they didn't until several months later, outside of, again, like cheap screen printed. Like, you could have gone to freaking Teespring for that, right? Like, or Etsy. Somebody was already doing chibi versions of that and selling it, right? Like, whatever. They didn't strike while the iron was hot. And instead of focusing on what actually had the potential, granted they did squander it, but what had the potential to be something that fans could be more or less united over and support and interested, invested in, they chose to just kind of like continue to bifurcate their fan base by saying, hey, we're gonna now announce this spin-off series, and now this spin-off series, and now this spin-off series. Like, how about you try and get one thing right, okay? Can we do that at least? And they didn't, because even though the first season, with 1 or 2 episode variants here, because almost no season of anything is completely perfect. You're going to have something worthy of criticism for sure. But that first season was pretty well received, right? So going into season 2, a lot of Star Wars fans, not all, again, but a lot were like, okay, like I'm kind of here for this. I'm invested. Let's see what they do, right? Like, let's see what Jon Favreau can do. Let's let him cook. And then it just kind of continued to do this and peter off. And as it was petering off, instead of like putting more investment and effort into what actually had the strong early results, they were like, hey, we're now going to greenlight this thing, and we're going to do this thing over here, and then we're going to do this thing. And then obviously the stuff with Gina Carano happened, and people were like, all right, well, now I'm definitely out, right? And so they just gave people less and less reasons to stick around and care. This is a movie that you should have done after, like, season 1 or 2. And, like, while the iron was still hot, coming off of the hype, even though there was, genuine criticism and valuable criticism with the finale for season 2, a lot of people were still pretty stoked. Right?
The hype was real.
there was an emotional high and a nostalgic high, and you could say that, you shouldn't completely rely solely on that, but you still had longtime Star Wars fans who had felt so dejected and downtrodden and depressed with the state that this franchise that they loved were in. At the end of that season, they were like, oh my God, I'm so excited right now. In hindsight, maybe some of them are like, oh yeah, you know what, that could have been better. But still, at that time, that's when you capitalize on the hype. Not say, hey, now we're going to do this thing over here, this thing over here, and this thing over here, and distract them from the thing they were actually excited about, and then give them 3 things that they have really no big interest in, and take 3 years to do it. Like, you shot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, Slice in the
even
chat.
You put a freaking thermal detonator on your own damn leg, is what you did.
Slicey in the chat is saying, I totally blame Kennedy, Filoni, and Igor. Kathleen Kennedy will go down in history as the worst studio head of all time. All time, anywhere. Her approach to Star Wars has been like the cinematic equivalent of Homer Simpson's makeup shotgun. Like, it's like Movie Bob taking his shirt off. It's just everything everywhere all at once.
Oh, wow.
It's just...
No, wow.
I'm paraphrasing Chrissy Mayer there. I have to give credit for that to Chrissy Mayer. But
is Movie Bob still around?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it's just she doesn't know what she's doing. She's just greenlighting all kinds of things. The fact that the Acolyte exists is like one of the biggest indicators that she just has no idea what she's doing, and she just hands projects to people, and if they don't get fired, and the project just doesn't go anywhere, then, they churn out something like The Acolyte or Ahsoka. Both of those were terrible. It's really disheartening. And you had something that people were excited about. You actually had some old-time fans that hated the sequels, but were still willing to give things a chance. And you squandered it and you wasted it. And like Andrew said, the merch wasn't out on time. I understand you didn't want the thing to leak, but you didn't have a plan to get the merch out. By the time the merch came out, the demand was already kind of fallen off, and you sold the merch to the people that were still excited about it, but it wasn't enough, and that's why all that shit is at Ollie's now. There was so much Baby Yoda, Grogu merchandise that is just on the shelf. The fact that I can walk into a store now and see Boba Fett figures on clearance, that never happened before. Occasionally Star Wars figures would go clearance, but when George owned it, you would never see a Boba Fett on clearance.
You would never see a character like Boba Fett.
You'd see a Spice Noodles on clearance.
Yeah. They managed to damage characters that people adored. Like the Kenobi show should have been the easiest thing in the world to be successful with. Mm-hmm. You have the novel already. Just do a pared down version of that.
Oh no, you can't pay the writer of the novel and pay the other writer to adapt the novel. No, you're paying 2 writers for the price of 1 show. You can't do that. Like, Kathleen Kennedy's strengths have never been on the creative side. She's always been the reason she was the producer that she is, prior to getting the head of Disney, of Star Wars at Lucasfilm, is she was a good problem solver and negotiator. Now, there are always some people out there saying, well, she worked for some of the best directors in the world. All she had to do is call up a person and say, hey, I'm working for George Lucas, or I'm working for Bob Zemeckis or something. Please give me what I want. No, that you mention a name like Steven Spielberg as a production company to anyone for a location, they're going to basically screw you out as much money as possible because they know it's a Steven Spielberg film. You've got to be able to negotiate against that, to say, I need this done this way for this price. And Kathleen Kennedy was really good at that. She's also really good at help mitigating actors, especially in the rumored story of when Harrison Ford was sick and he ended up shooting the guy who spent all that time choreographing the fight for Raiders of the Lost Ark. Well, someone had to tell that actor, hey, this is how we're doing the scene now. I'm very sorry for, you're not going to be able to shine up as much, but however, it's still going to be a memorable scene. Kathleen Kennedy was of the type that was able to do that. But the thing is, Kathleen Kennedy had no taste. And that's something you need when you're a studio head. You have to have a sense of taste and understanding of what captivates a general audience, because lots of people in studio heads know how to captivate a niche audience. It's very easy. They broadcast exactly what they want.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with a franchise film, you don't just capitulate to the niche. You're like, this is a franchise film because it captivated the broadest audience possible. You have your intense fans, which are niche, which are great, and you want to make sure you satisfy them, but you don't satisfy them by giving them what they want, you give them by what they need. And what do they need? Well, they need to have that same feeling they got when they saw the very first entry of this story that got their fandom in. That's the need you have to fulfill. That's why Star Wars and Empire are complementary films that are vastly different from each other. It's not a repeat of the first Star Wars film at all. Return of the Jedi, kind of a repeat of the first Star Wars film. That's why it's as good as it can be for a lot of people. It doesn't really have that same wow moment factor that Star Wars and Empire has in comparison. And that's because George Lucas is kind of giving fans what he thinks they want, while also trying to, wrap up a story that he didn't, that as he was making it up along the way, he thought he was going to be doing Star Wars movies every couple of years. But after his divorce, and after basically seeing I need time to spend with my kids, I am wrapping up everything with Jedi now, so I can at least go into like the background of being a producer, raise my kids, and maybe I'll entertain the idea of maybe going back into directing or being an editor or being a more prominent producer in the future. He didn't know at that time. And that's why Jedi is the way it is. That's why it's ghost directed by George Lucas. And
that's why the one of the set pieces is a big sandy vagina in the desert. It's because he was going through a divorce.
Yeah, everything is all dried up. Yeah,
Message.
They're still throwing people into the
suffering for 10,000 years.
What do you do though to make Return of the Jedi better? Like that's probably a topic.
You give Han
we are not talking about Mandalorian and Grogu. We are avoiding it at all costs.
Man.
What you do to make Jedi better is you give Han Solo and Leia a story, because they don't have a story in Return of the Jedi.
No.
And the story that you give is that Han Solo is like, where is my place going to be if the rebels win this battle with the Emperor? Because we know that Leia is going to have a very prominent role in reshaping the galaxy, reorganizing and reshaping the galaxy. But where's Han's position in that? He's a smuggler, a criminal that is only recruited to the rebellion because he's useful as a pilot and a leader. What position would he actually hold once, it's a more of a free society within the galaxy where still smuggling is still going to be illegal? What's he going to do? Where's he going to go? Is Leia really in love with him, or is she only in love with him because of the thrill of the battle and the fact that she might be dead tomorrow? Like, that is the type of story you explore in a movie like that. And you don't give doubt that Han Solo is going to betray anybody. You just have him in the sphere of like, I am doing this knowing that Leia is probably going to leave me once the galaxy is free from the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
They do try to do a little something, but it's so brief and it doesn't really like resonate when he's like asking her what's wrong and she's like, I can't. And he's like, oh, you could tell Luke. That's who you could tell. Like they're playing off of that a little bit, but it really wasn't enough. And as a kid, it didn't bother me because as a kid, I was like, oh, Han Solo's leading the mission. Just like it made and I liked the little bits that they did with him, and I didn't hate the Ewoks. Even as a kid, I remember talking to my uncle and saying like, well, the Ewoks are like the Viet Cong. They weren't as technologically advanced, but they knew the terrain.
Yeah.
A little more furry.
Sparrow was scary.
That's right. I was a very well-read kid, and and I was already reading G.I. Joe, so like I was already getting like military tactics and things like that from Larry.
Pathos now by then too, right?
I had seen like probably like most of us of that age, most of Gen X. I saw way too much, way too early.
Yeah.
Hey, even in my generation, I saw way too much, way too early. RoboCop, lots of random ass Italian horror movies, you name it, I watched it.
I think I was
And
7
Star
when I
Wars on
saw
top of it.
Predator 2.
Wait, Predator 2 or like TOO, like also?
Number 2.
Oh, I tried to watch that the other week. I turned it off. It is not a good one.
It's not nearly as good as the first one. Yeah.
But it is way better than The Predator.
Well,
Yeah.
duh. It's like if Predator 1 is here and Predator 2 is here, the rest of the franchise is on the floor that you can't see in the camera frame. Like, it is.
I liked Predator as well enough.
That was
I
the
can't.
Adrian Brody one, or
It was solid. It was a solid movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That new one looks horrible with the
Badlands.
girl. Yeah.
oh yeah, that's the synthetic that's attached to the back of them, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, does she have no legs? Does she get torn in half? Is he carrying her around
She's
like?
Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's or like in Batman Last Man on Earth, where it's the Scarecrow's riding around on Bane's back.
So, since we're gonna be keeping this at about a 2-hour show, I guess the Mandalorian trailer looks bad enough that we forgot to talk about it, even though we talked about it.
There was no dialogue in the trailer. There's nothing to say.
There just wasn't
We
much
missed
to go
much.
off of.
We learned that Babu Frick is alive, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Which again tells you that hey, all roads lead to the sequels, which is like why I don't want to see it. The only thing in this trailer that made me go, oh, was I was like, oh, they put an Amanen in there. There's an Amanen right there.
Muscular Hut, like a Muscular Hut was in there.
That's
in the arena.
That's Jabba's son. That's Rada the Hutt.
Yeah.
So wait, is the Mandalorian Grogu after the sequel trilogy, or is it still before the sequel trilogy? Because Babu Frick is, of course, survives.
Oh wait, it is before, right?
It takes
Yeah,
place
it's right after
before
Return
the
of the
sequels.
Jedi.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, it's a handful of years after the Return of the
Like
Jedi.
5.
But yeah.
like 5 or 6 years, I think, something. Yeah.
Well,
So we're going to see the formation of the First Order in this, probably, or at least the beginnings of it.
I think
Which
Oh.
I'm not going to see it because I'm not going to watch the movie. But
maybe they just don't like. The only thing The Mandalorian has going for it that I think is a strong point is it is a show that exists in a window of time where you can still sell stormtroopers, scout troopers, Luke Skywalker. Like you can literally sell any of the
Outwalkers, yeah.
shit. Yeah, any of the shit that we all like. It's like, well, we can make new toys of that. We can sell it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you see the Millennium Falcon in this movie and have a CGI Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and Princess Leia. Like, that might be this movie. That's how they're going to get people hyped. It's like, oh, they're bringing back original cast members. So the fuck what?
Well, if
Like,
they do show us the formation of the First Order, I can't wait to see what Trump allegory they use to create it.
Oh God!
What character are going to turn to Trump? Which one is Trump? Now they're probably going to put a Charlie Kirk in there or something.
no, they'll put Jimmy Kimmel. Love it. They'll put Jimmy Kimmel actually in the movie.
Yeah, Jimmy
can
Kimmel
you
will be the guy leading the charge against the First Order, and the First Order kidnaps him and beheads him or something.
Did you see the Variety article today that was like Jimmy Kimmel just became the most important comedian in the fight against Trump? And it was like,
Shouldn't a comedian tell jokes? Like he never tells jokes.
he'd have to be a comedian before he could be the most important one.
It's not even jokes I don't find funny. He just doesn't tell jokes. He just goes, Trump, am I right? And then he just tells monologues.
Well,
Like,
even in the days of Win Ben Stein's Money, he wasn't the funniest person on that show. Ben Stein was funnier, or the audience, or the contestants were funnier than him.
I always say that if one of either Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel was funny, you'd be able to tell them apart, but neither of them are. So.
That's fair. Late night shows died when Conan O'Brien was he left.
Yeah.
I liked his TBS
When he got
show.
screwed, by Jay Leno, and then his TBS show was good, but
I was such a Conan fan. Like I was part of the countdown show. I was like, all right, he's going to be on the Tonight Show tonight, and then they even had it on the NBC website because I couldn't stay up to watch it because I was working. And I remember watching him like going across the country with his car. I was on board. But now late night shows are literally just political ads the whole time. It's like I don't want to hear. Here's the thing. I always want to hear in real life differing opinions. I want to have conversations and dialogues. That's one thing. But when I watch a late night show, like I either want to see the band perform or hear what Harrison Ford or The Rock's going to say about their new movie. I do not want to hear some shitty comedian try to make political jokes. And like, you're not Johnny Carson, dude. You're not even Jay Leno good. Like, he just sucks. And funny thing is, he's still taken off in so many different markets. Like around here, I don't think they're showing Jimmy Kimmel because of the Sinclair deal.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
Hope was
Stand strong.
episodes of Columbo. That's a great show.
Columbus.
I would totally watch, or even Kolchak the Night Stalker. Put that on. We'll watch that.
I have those
I
comic
think
books and the
there's another network. There's Sinclair Network. Another network just joined Sinclair Network and not
Next
showing
Star.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Next
Yeah,
year.
that's what it was. That's what it was.
But
yeah.
the thing is,
Biggest
the
ones,
other
right?
affiliates in the area that have not joined the boycott, that also didn't have the license to air Jimmy Kimmel, they can now get that license right now, immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you have to worry about because there's always the Streisand effect. It's going to be short for Jimmy Kimmel, but it's going to happen, and he's going to ride it for as long as it's going to be.
Yeah, he'll get a bump for 2 weeks.
Yeah, something like that. And then it'll go back
Mention
down.
Craig Ferguson. I was going to mention Craig Ferguson. I was going to say Craig Ferguson's the last good late night talk show host that we've had.
He's
Yes,
great.
he is. He lost that out because Paramount was stupid and decided that Stephen Colbert and his Colbert Report was getting more ratings and that would bring it over when Letterman retired. And Letterman got super upset because Ferguson was promised The Late Show, just
Much
like
as-
how
Yep.
Conan was promised Tonight Show.
And David Letterman was promised the Tonight Show before that.
And Leno screwed him out of that really quick. And
Most
even
boring man in
Carson
Hollywood.
did his last official pseudo hosting thing on CBS with Late Night with David Letterman. Like he brought in a fake desk, and it was huge because Carson basically said in no uncertain terms, as politely as he could, you are the new guy. It's not on NBC, but you are the new guy.
Mhm.
And Leno got so pissed at that. And then he did it again when Conan came.
Yeah,
And
Leno's a garbage human being.
Yeah, he's a decent stand-up, but he's a really bad player. He plays ball really bad in the business world, like just really bad.
Well, he's got a lot of cool cars. He's got that going for him.
Yeah,
so that's something.
Definitely has that.
So we'll see, folks, what goes down with the Mandalorian and Grogu in a year. No, wait, less than a year, like 8 months, 9 months.
May.
Right.
Yay, all right.
Also release it in May because there's going to be some competition there. I think
Wait, the
Supergirl's
Avengers
coming out around that time, and even though Supergirl's not a name like as prominent as Mandalorian and Grogu, the response overall from Superman and what's going on with Peacemaker, even though it's a little divisive to some demographics, is going in the right direction. Warner Brothers is really happy right now. Like I have a couple of colleagues over there who are super excited for next year and the year after with DC Studios. So excited that they're begging to get transferred to work for DC Studios instead of just for regular Warner Brothers.
Wow.
And I haven't seen a buzz like that in any studio market in my entirety working in Hollywood. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I want to work at DC.
Right on.
In the mailroom.
They don't have a mailroom anymore.
Well, darn. I want to do something on a film set for DC. I just want to be the guy that stands there and they say, "Does it look good?" I go, "Yeah, it's fine." And
you can work for like the assistant directors department and be like crowd control. You just stand in a place and be like, "Sorry, you can't walk here, person." Pedestrian.
Oh, perfect. I'm a wall. I'll be like, "Get the fuck back." Just give him.
Yeah, Jeff, you'd be good at that job. You're like nobody's gonna like. You're gonna be like, "No, you can't go here." The people will be like, "All right, buddy."
Yeah.
Reset.
Don't make me raise my voice at you because you will not like it. Yeah. All right, folks, let's check in with you guys, and then we're going to tell you about a couple cool things that are coming up in the world of creation, because everybody likes to complain about entertainment, but everyone here puts their money where their mouth is, and we're creating stuff. The next era of great stuff is coming from this circle, so be on the lookout for that, and let us tell you about it in just a moment. But I want to thank all the listeners who joined us tonight. And we have a few more super chats that rolled in. So let's see where we are caught up. TLJ Screwjob says before he took... Okay, we already read that one. Xavier to God, do you think we'll ever see Nick Fury as a white guy again?
Probably not for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, he's technically still exists in the comics, but in terms of live action, probably not. The thing is, Sam Jackson became the more iconic version of the character in terms of the cultural zeitgeist, in terms of the pop culture, like the normie mediums. So I don't see them moving away from that anytime soon. They're welcome to prove me wrong, but I mean, it's not something I'd hold my breath for.
Although we are getting that nice 2-pack with Nick Fury and the Punisher from the video game, so you're getting white Nick Fury you're still getting white Nick Fury toys.
Yeah.
Cool. Who would be a good white Nick Fury these days, actor-wise? Like that's a tricky casting to make.
The guy that played Negan.
Oh, Javier Bardem Morgan?
And Dean Martin, yeah.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan, yeah.
Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, that's right.
Well, no, on the channel we always refer to him as Javier Bardem Morgan because he and Javier Bardem look the same. Like, seriously, it's the same dude. One's just...
Okay, so you could do Javier Bardem, too.
I would be all for white Nick Fury because it would be like James Bond, and there really isn't like a James Bond equivalent in Marvel. It'd be kind of cool, like not military style Nick Fury, but like espionage Nick Fury, where of course he's part of S.H.I.E.L.D. and of course S.H.I.E.L.D. is what it is, but like see him on these like lone missions, like not in the backdrop for a superhero. I would watch that, but it wouldn't be the Sam Jackson version, because after Secret Invasion 2 years ago, I don't want to see that dude, and I don't want to see that character anymore. That and the Marvels, it was just shit after shit. And I don't know what Disney expects from us fans to be like, hey, it's so great to see more garbage again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wyatt Russell could probably do it decently, too.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Brad Pitt.
Oh, yeah, Brad Pitt would be great.
I'm just thinking of him as Aldo Rain in Inglourious Bastards, and he could pull it off big time.
For sure.
Have you seen that meme going around of the old man who mistook the F1 trailer for Brad Pitt the movie? He couldn't tell the
That's
F1
funny.
logo.
I was saying that when I saw the big display. I didn't end up posting it, but I was telling my friend, I was like, this just looks like Brad Pitt the movie. I don't even know, like the F1 is just buried in there.
I need to watch that movie. I've heard nothing but great things. Enrique says, according to Pro, The Force Awakens got 30 million views in 24 hours. Mandalorian and Grogu got 3. Well, how to lose 90% of your audience in a decade.
Yeah.
Rough.
Well, also, too, let's be honest. The Force Awakens trailer was hyped up so much. You had a countdown. You had, like, countdown to tickets, all this shit. This trailer just dropped out of the blue. Like, we knew it was getting made, but, you know, I'm not making excuses. It's definitely a different thing. But also, too, The Force Awakens isn't... It can't really be compared because it's the return of Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
It was 10 years of anticipation for a Star Wars film, 30 years of anticipation for the original cast coming back. You are always going to be guaranteed minimum 25 million views for that trailer.
The brand wasn't tainted.
Star Wars was still, the Star Wars was still riding high. Like I told you, I had a friend that worked at Lucasfilm at the time, and when they were talking about the sale, like George like had a meeting with everybody, and he was saying, like, we made $10 billion this year, in merchandising with no movie out, and he goes, and all these people work here, and I'm getting older, and it just occurred to me that, like, I can't just shut everything down and cost everybody their job. So we're looking at selling. And he said it was funny. He said because the whole week before George had that meeting with everybody, everybody there was like, why's Kathleen Kennedy been here all week?
And what happened to Rick McCullum? Right, same question. Because
I think he just dropped
before
out.
the deal went through, and even one of my buddies over there is like, we have no idea why Rick left, like, at all. And I think it's because, well, for years there'd been rumors that someone was talking to George about how none of his kids are interested in filmmaking, so he can't pass the company down to him. So he probably should look to selling to another person.
Mm-hmm.
He should have adopted me. I'd have been his kid, and I would have taken up the mantle.
Yeah.
Thanks, George.
That would've
Dad.
been smart.
Yeah.
But I mean, the scuttlebutt was that, there's some producer that's talking George up about trying to convince him to sell. And I always had this theory that it was Kathleen Kennedy because she's been good friends with Bob Iger, and Iger's also been decent friends with Lucas because Iger helped with the ABC contract for the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was a coordinated effort between Iger and Kathleen to literally convince George to sell his company so that they could take it over. And they made a great argument because, like, George is big on family. Disney's advertised as a family company, but every person I know in Hollywood, and even before I got into the industry, my family never trusted the Disney Corporation. They just did not.
No, it's not Walt's company. It hasn't been for a very long time. And I'm sure that's exactly what happened. I'm sure Kathleen Kennedy and Iger were conspiring, and everything the way they say, like, even when you see like the interviews with Lucas, where he's like, "Well, I'm going to be the keeper of the flame," and and et cetera, and that lasted like what until the ink wasn't even dry before they were forcing him out.
They
We don't really want your treatments, George. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's definitely not Walt's Disney because Walt was anti-communist.
Yes.
However,
he was pro sanitization, which is why all the public domain stories he made were all the edge was out of them, and that's where Disneyfication came like a common aspect, especially in the industry. Even from the people that were teaching me who had been in the industry for like 4 decades, they're like the worst thing they ever had, even when Walt was alive, was if you had to pitch something, if it had anything that could be deemed a little bit risky, he would not like it because it's like, this is a family company, we can't show that to children. And it's like, if you're a protectionist over children and not a prepper for children, you're a bad parent. Because great parents prepare their children for the dangers of the world in a safe manner that they can comprehend. And protect
do that
from the world so they never see anything. And that's how you get the whiny people that are screaming when Donald Trump gets elected.
He did do that, though. He did scare the shit out of children with a lot of the movies. Like, there's some terrifying sequences in Snow White. There's some,
we all watched Dumbo, man. Like...
when Pinocchio, and the kid becomes the donkey.
Yeah.
I never watched any of those movies.
Yeah, kids were drinking booze and they were drinking booze and smoking cigars.
That's why I've never smoked a
the
cigar in
Crows,
my
right?
life.
For Dumbo? Yeah. I've seen those books.
Cigars are great. I recommend them.
I'm joking.
I recommend cigars. Yeah.
I have. Miami,
And whiskey.
we have
Cigars and whiskey are a good combination.
But not for children.
No.
Well,
we're not children.
Well,
Hey, I look at our analytics. We don't have
I mean,
anybody
hey, look,
under 18 watch this channel.
Is the children in question? Do they work in the mines? If yes, then they might have a right to cigars, whiskey.
That's why
the
Minecraft
kids
is
in
so
the Temple
popular.
of
The
Doom?
kids,
That's
the kids
the
yearn to
big
return to their
black
natural
Yearn for the
habitat.
mines.
Xavier God, thank you. He says, "Is it weird that I still call Billy Batson Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers Miss Marvel, Jean Grey Marvel Girl, Luke Cage Power Man, etc."
No,
Nope,
it's
not weird at
Yeah,
all.
actually. No, I'm gonna say yeah. Like, look, I get it. Yeah, Billy was the original Captain Marvel. That has not been the case for decades and decades and decades. So
They changed the name
I'll
like
take
15 years ago.
I'll take Marvel as my Captain Marvel. Carol Danvers, however, I will agree with you. She is Miss Marvel. Jean Grey. Look, man, I don't know what to tell you. Luke
I
Cage.
still
I guess
think-
if you
I still call
want to call
Jean-
Luke Cage Power Man, fine, I guess. But
Hey, the
I
new
think
figure
his,
calls him Power
his,
Man.
his name is just badass on its own. Luke Cage is a dope name. I don't think you need much of a name outside of that. That's me.
Johnny Blaze is a cool name, but we still call him
Yeah,
Ghost
it is.
Rider.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, they're both
No, it
awesome.
absolutely is.
Call me Nighthawk. Xavier to God, I know you're younger than I am, and Jean Grey hasn't been called Marvel Girl ever in our lifetimes. Like,
I still call her that though.
Yeah, like the last time on Kenny X-Men, she wasn't even called Marvel Girl then, right? With the relaunch?
No.
Mhm.
Yeah.
no, she's just Jean Grey. She wasn't even in the relaunch. She was in Krakoa, right? She was trapped by that living island. And
Well, she's
Cyclops was the
Phoenix
only
again
one.
End of
now.
the titles, or was
Even
it
before that?
revamp in the 80s?
No,
Like,
she was still just Jean Grey back then.
Yeah.
I love how in the
From the
X-Men
moment that-
cartoon, everybody's got an epic name, and then hers is just Jean Grey. Like everyone,
Like, she hasn't-
Gambit,
She
Wolverine.
hasn't been anything other than just Jean Grey or Phoenix since like the 70s, I think.
I think did they not still call her Marvel Girl when they launched X Factor when they brought her back?
That's the
remember.
one I was
I-
thinking about because they use fake names in the beginning, right? Because they're supposed to be
Yeah.
a government offshoot.
I think
I
it was when
believe that
when you hit like the Jim Lee kind of stuff, like when they reformed the team and they had the blue and the gold. I think they started calling her Jean Grey because they couldn't decide on a new name for her, and they were like, well, she can't be Marvel Girl because she's a woman now, and like those conversations were already starting to happen. You know, and then they didn't like the name Marvel Woman, like doing, you know, go from Invisible Girl to Invisible Woman. They didn't want to do
Marvel
that.
Woman's
So
just a terrible name. It's like
Yeah, it just doesn't roll off the tongue.
it's like a parody name, you know?
Yeah.
Like Mr. Incredible. It's like, well, you know, of course Disney used it. But I love that movie, so that's not me
Disney,
taking
well,
shots at it.
Pixar used it better. Remember,
Yeah.
Pixar was still, Pixar's complicated because it was still independent, but it had a distribution deal with Disney, and then Disney later acquired it wholesale.
And their movies aren't anything worthwhile to me anymore. I know I'm older, but it used to be that like some of those classic Pixar films appealed to adults and kids alike. But
Yeah, they're that.
Almost.
Look at
I
that
see
top Pixar teams at Skydance right now for their animation department. So we're seeing, cross fingers, they're cooking up something good.
I went and saw Up without knowing anything about it, just because it was a Pixar
Oh,
film. I was
no.
like, at that point, I was like, no, like I was like, Pixar films are good. Like every
No, I
Pixar
meant the
film I've seen.
emotional part, it just
Oh, there was an old guy that was by himself in the theater, and like at that opening, like he got up and he went out. Clearly, he was like dealing with some stuff. Like when they did the whole like death of Ellie at the beginning, like he got up and you could tell he was like it hit him, and he like walked out. And I remember saying to my friend, like, I can't believe that they did like a miscarriage and a death like in the first 5 minutes. Like Pixar's not even messing around this time. They're just going straight Kali Ma and like pulling Ram and just pulling your heart right out at the beginning.
Dude, we were at a Best Buy while my buddy was getting a car stereo installed, and we're sitting there waiting, and Up's on TV. They're showcasing like Blu-ray technology. That's how old we are. And me and my friend were watching it. We're like, what the hell is this? Like, we were so taken aback by that, and we just like got up and walked around because we weren't prepared for that one. It was, but It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia did a great parody of it. So if you guys need to see that, here you go.
That was hilarious. Yeah, just Charlie got his good ending, technically.
Yep.
I don't want anybody
all
in
he
that
wanted.
show to have a good ending. They're all dog water people.
Yeah.
The show should have ended about
It's just
6 seasons ago because they had the perfect ending where all the characters, like Dennis went off and had a kid, and the characters all reverted back to their natural form. And for me, like a sitcom and shit, people need to just get back to their original form where you found them, and then the show should end because it comes cyclical. I don't want to see them evolve and grow. I just want to see them return to their shitty selves. So I'll do a whole rant on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia later. It used to be my favorite show. Now I just watch it out of obligation. TLJ Screwjob, thank you. He says, random thought, do you guys have a genre you can't get into? Mine is horror. That hurts me. I know it's not real and all, but it's too unsettling. Okay, that's fair. Any genres you guys can't get into?
Comedy anymore. Comedy after Jim Carrey's 90s heyday and the first 2 Rush Hour films. I can't get into comedies anymore.
You have missed out so much, though. You've gone back way
Tropic
too far.
Thunder, dude.
I have seen Tropic Thunder.
21 Jump Street.
Okay, I haven't seen 21 Jump Street, but Wedding Crashers was fine. Tropic Thunder was fine. Tropic Thunder was fine, but I just otherwise like I can't get into it these days. It's all stupid.
I've got an assignment given to me to do a body horror film, and I don't watch much body horror, so it's not really my thing. But
Cronenberg.
But now I've got to do it, and so it's like, okay, it's a genre, it's a weird genre, it's a niche genre.
Mm-hmm.
But to get into it as a fan, it's a little trickier, especially on the horror side, unless it's like schlocky horror. Schlocky horror is great.
You got to read some Junji Ito. He's really good at that stuff.
Yeah.
Is that the what was that? What's the big one that got the anime on HBO Max?
You mean Spirals?
Yeah, the Spiral show. That was
Uzumaki.
Uzumaki.
That was Junji Ito. Yeah.
I can't get into like modern romance comedies, like, because I just think I think the writing is so shit, and the people. I can't get into any kind of movie where if like the character said one line of dialogue, all the drama would be resolved, because I think that's poorly made. It's like, just say what you fucking think, and then the whole problem's resolved, and tell a different story with these characters. But no, I don't also get into. I like westerns enough. What don't I watch? Like romance shit. I don't give a shit. It's fake.
British movies where people are coming in and out of rooms going,
I don't even know if I can find a British movie that does that.
It's just British people with their awkwardness, like not talking about their feelings, just like,
I was talking about like the Hugh Grant days when before he became the underdog actor, which had made him way more entertaining to watch.
yeah, it's like a lot of that. Just a lot of people like your Downton Abbeys, like just not no interest to me.
No,
British period
I was bought
pieces.
a Downton Abbey popcorn bucket though, because at Batman Forever they had a clearance of all these popcorn buckets. And I bought Megan, I bought Jaws 50th, and I bought Mission Impossible. So
what was the Downton Abbey popcorn bucket? What was the theme?
The building that they live in, or whatever. I've never watched the show, but whatever that building is, they had a pillow and they had a popcorn bucket. Yeah. Oh, that's what that is. That's down. We have a running joke about Downtown Abbey, how she's a whore, but we don't talk about that. TLJ Screwjob also says the important thing to respect is these characters and to make sure that they continue to live on the way that you, George, envisioned them. Kathleen Kennedy.
That lasted 0 seconds.
That was bullshit.
Yeah. The lie detector determined that was a lie. Thank you, TLJ Screwjob.
We need a Maury Povich button on this channel. Like, just... I'm writing it down. I run the channel. How the fuck am I telling you guys?
I was going to say, I was like, you're the one that makes those, dude.
Are we in operations right now?
Yeah.
It's my first Tuesday back in a while. Normally I'm drawing books or watching reruns.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Xavier to God says, which do you prefer for Magneto? Magnus, Max, or Eric?
I prefer Eric Lensher, but I'm okay with the Max Eisenhart.
I think like Tyrone Magnus. Like, okay, play him as Magneto.
Definitely not the same character.
I like Eric Lensher, but I like the alias of Magnus.
Yeah.
I'm weird, Xavier to God. I don't refer to fictional superhero characters as their character name. Like, I only call them, like, it's Wolverine. I don't call him James Howlett. I don't call Cyclops anything but Cyclops or Gambit. Because my buddy Joel used to talk about these characters like they were fucking real. And I thought it was so bizarre how he, like, this was like early 2000s, like 08, 09. And he's like going on about his friend. It sounds like he's talking about his friends Dick and Jean and Scott. I'm like, who the fuck are you talking about? He's like, the X-Men. I'm like, just call them by their character names. Like, nobody, if you start talking about Scott, I think you're talking about your friend Scott, which I don't, cool, whatever. So I have a weird thing. Like, and also,
Fair
too,
enough.
if I'm talking about, like, characters and their like alter egos, like I will say Peter Parker or Bruce Wayne or Clark Kent. I never call them by first names because it's too familiar sounding.
Oh yeah, I'm never
going
gonna refer to Magneto as Eric. Like I'm gonna say Magneto or Eric Lensher. I'm not gonna say Eric, because just to your point, that sounds like I'm just talking like about my buddy Eric or my boss Eric, right? Like
that's what I was gonna say.
Right? Like the confusion is easy to understand, right? So at that point, you're just like, what are we doing here? Right?
Andrew's like, yeah, no, and then Eric sank a whole submarine full of Russian soldiers. And people, Eric
did. Some people might accuse him of doing exactly that, but
it's the internet. Yeah, there'll be a whole 6-hour trash cast on it.
Yeah.
Is he the reason there's a dark side of the moon and that we've never been there?
He is, but that's only because he's black.
Thank you. Okay, so we are all caught up with the audience and everything. Sorry, I'm just letting that one ruminate for a minute. That was a good one. I missed this show.
I did too. I missed you
No,
all.
Batman. Well, I'm not a secret Downton Abbey fan. I literally I like British shows. Like I'll watch Keeping Up Appearances or Are You Being Served or Monty Python. Time After Time. No, not Time After Time. As Time Goes By. Excuse me.
As time goes
Mr.
by.
Bean.
One Foot in the Grave is a good one.
I will add that to my list. I have the Fawlty Towers box set in my living room. Like I love British comedy, but Downton Abbey, I really just I don't know what it's
too
about.
British and not enough comedy.
I watched the Great British Baking Show with my mom. I'm not embarrassed to say that. That's as British as it gets.
But did you buy the comic, The High Republic Great Bake Off? Did you buy that?
Is that
where we got to see that is a real comic that Marvel published because Star Wars has been taken over by the same people that are taking over tabletop gaming and making Dungeons and Dragons about prom. They had a Bake Off comic.
Don't worry, Aaron. One of my other business ventures is a game, and we are not bringing prom night and any of that bullshit into our board game. Or it's not a board game, it's a tabletop card game. So it's about drinking. But guys, we're not talking about projects that are 2 years off. We're talking about stuff that is coming up now or soon to be available. So I told you guys about Stealing Solo 2. I'll tell you a little more about it after everyone goes because, we have wonderful things to talk about. So I have dropped links for Aaron's project as well as Andrew's book over at the Rippaverse. Literature Devil, do you have a link I can drop in the chat so I can share these?
Oh, yeah, 1 second here. Let me put.
While you're getting that, Aaron, would you care to tell us about Kneel Before Doomface?
Yeah.
Kneel Before Doom.
Oh, he's
frozen there.
He's frozen.
He's frozen with excitement.
He'll probably catch up in a second.
You know what? Frozen Aaron reminds me of the Admiral Chuck in Goldeneye when James Bond finds his body and he just falls out and smiles.
He looks so delightful there too. He's just sitting there. He's got a smile on his face.
Oh, he dropped. Damn.
No, he'll be back.
All right, Andrew.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead, sir?
All right, guys. For those of you who are not familiar with the Reverse, we are an independent comic book company, and we are trying to build out our own expanding universe. So think very early years of Marvel or DC, when they're laying the groundwork. They're just coming up with these characters, just introducing these stories in those locales. One of my favorite projects that we do over there is called our Ripazine. I did come up with that name. I will take credit for that. I love it. It's kind of on the nose and it's fun. It's kind of meant to be a throwback to the old Wizard magazine days. But my favorite part about it is that every single issue we have a 10 to 16 page short story that introduces, it's kind of, you can kind of think of it as like a pilot episode for a proposed new character, proposed new series. And issue number 5, which is now available to pre-order, is where it actually has my short story debut. The short story is called Blue Shift Tryouts. The character's name is Zephyr Arland. He is a young teenage except. That's what we call our metahumans or our superpowered beings in our universe. And it's his first day being allowed to attend a normal school. He was born with special abilities. He has the gift of super speed. Anybody that knows me knows that the speedster archetype is my favorite superpower archetype. My favorite hero archetype, however, is the character that's got the heart of gold. Guys like your Supermans, right? But also mixed with your everyman. So there's some Peter Parker in there. And this story was a lot of fun to create. I actually designed the character myself. And because we crossed over 50,000 in pre-order sales, I will reveal on our closeout stream at least the original head sketch that I did for the character while I was trying to work out the design.
Have you sent me that?
I don't know if I've showed you that one. You're like one of the only people that's seen the full Andrew sketch that's like the actual design.
It was good too. I told you, man. If you wanted to pursue it as an artist, you could. You got the anatomy down. I know you could do the storytelling. Don't sell yourself short. You're good.
Was that
at
the
this,
black
too.
and white one you showed us like a couple months ago?
Maybe you might have actually seen it as well, Script.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I know Jeff has seen it for sure, but this is his first day being allowed to try and be a normal teenager. But he's gonna find out really quickly normalcy isn't in the cards for him, and he's gonna be on a fast track to becoming something more down the line. This is gonna set up him. It's gonna set up his supporting cast and the people around him who are going to mean a lot to him and he mean a lot to them moving forward, should I get the blessing of being able to tell more stories. But I think the story is a lot of fun. The people on my team, who are actually very critical people, especially my editor, she threw the story back at me quite a few times. It was like, you can do better. You can do better. And it got a lot of refinement. So I'm pretty pleased with the end result. And I think everybody else that reads it will as well. So please check that out. And I think you guys will have fun with it.
Link is in the comment section right now, folks. I will redrop those links at the end so everybody can kind of get those together. But there's not only one comic book writer here on the channel. There are multiple. And up next is our friend Literature Devil. Tell us about what you got going on right now, man.
Yeah, hello. We got. I'll share it real quick. I got it right here. It's Lady Midnight Devils Dwell in Silent Springs, a project I've been working on for a very long time. Since 2020, essentially. That's kind of where it all began. If you bought my first comic book, which was Dr. Alpha Miracle Child, the first edition, it had a number of extra stories in there, and the original 10-page comic of this character is in there. So there is proof that I've been working on this for quite a while. Although it's gone through a lot of changes, a lot of rewrites, a lot of refinements and everything. And then for the current script, I finally brought it to life. This character finally brought it to life with her own identity, her own kind of style of story. At first, it was kind of like a Constantine sort of thing. You know, she goes off and fights supernatural bad guys with magic. And it's kind of like that. But I refined it more and more and more over the course of the 5 years. And I decided to take the more difficult road when it came down to this, which is why this current script took me 8 months to do, because it is an actual mystery, like a Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie style mystery. I kind of binge read a lot of Agatha Christie, a lot of Sherlock Holmes. Well, reread a lot of Sherlock Holmes because I was more of a Holmesian than an Agatha Christie fan, an Hercule Poirot fan. But I do like Hercule Poirot now. I do have some stories under my belt of Hercule Poirot. But so I got a lot of those. Went over Columbo. You know, did a lot of. I even started trying to read Lord Peter Wimsey, which is another detective. But it has very rooted in mystery, very strong mystery. So you will have clues. I'll explain the magic to you. It's cult detective. So I explain the magic to you, explain how things work, so you can kind of be following along with the detective as she tries to solve the supernatural murder mystery of one of the most powerful people in the city. So I do also have a trailer here, if you want to see that one. Let's see.
As long as it's got the appropriate music, play it.
Yeah, it's all copyright free and everything. It's about a minute long. Cool. Let's see.
Began with the suicide of Charles Blackwell, then the Rhine Swan family massacre. 3 generations painfully passing from this world, crying the same crimson tears Blackwell had. After that, the media finally gave their murderer a name: the Red Crier Killer. But despite it all, evil can be conquered. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark, I'll lead you home. If your heart is gripped by fear, I'll comfort you. If justice eludes you, I'll find it. So sleep well, Orb City. And while you dream, I'll keep the monsters away.
There it is. Lady Midnight Devil Dwells in Silent Springs. So it's a pretty interesting story, a lot of background, a lot of lore in this world. So, but I could put it all in here. This is his first story, but I'm really hoping this book can get funded, mainly because there's so much more story to tell in this world. So many more mysteries. I already have like 2 and 3 kind of planned out. In fact, One of the stretch goals is actually if there's a new piece of art that I will add to every order that kind of gives you a preview into the second story. But first we got to get funded first. I calculate everything down to the penny and the dollars, and this is unfortunately the minimum amount I need. This was 25,000. Art is expensive. Making comic books is expensive.
It is.
So this is production of the art. This is getting all the supplies, shipping, printing, all taxes, all that stuff. It piles up. So I went all out on this. We got a nice looking campaign here thanks to my artist. I got editor. I got professional letter. Everything. Got all. We all put our all into this book, into the story, because we all believe in it. It also has some commentary in this. I do like commentary. Basically, the groundwork of her backstory is a woman who has been was indoctrinated into feminism and is kind of like who has broken free of that and has turned a new leaf and trying to not really win over anybody, but make up for her past mistakes, that sort of thing. So she was raised by a witch coven, and so she was able to eventually walk away from it. And now trying to right her wrongs and make up for everything. So that's kind of where it is. There's a lot of lore, a lot of supernatural magic in there. The baselines of the magic I used was D&D. It was actually D&D. I took that because it was such a great grounded magical system because it had to operate in a game fashion. And so I took that and I fleshed it out and I refined it so that it is kind of familiar to D&D players, but a little bit different, a little bit more it adheres to the rules of this world, things like that. So we had District 25% funded, and there it is: supernatural murder mystery, occult detective, Lady Midnight, devils dwell in Silent Springs.
So when Lady Midnight escaped feminism, was she a very fat woman and then had to lose weight over the course of her transformation?
Fortunately not. She was
Lord Almighty.
That's why she didn't really fit in.
Well, if she was fat, she wouldn't fit into anything.
That's true.
There's that.
I mean, Lizzo had clothing.
We saw that great butt shot in the trailer. I mean, that takes work. So
yeah, a lot of work.
Yeah, squats and running.
Yeah,
a lot of fighting. She's actually fighting a revenant in this scene, and so she's pulling out a gun. She's pulling out a gun there. She's fighting a revenant in the scene, which revenants kind of work off the rules of like Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers. That they're really hard to stop. They're really hard to fight. Also, I specified to my artist that she's using specifically a Cult 1911. There's lore and backstory behind that too. Witches historically grow plants. They do a lot of things with nature, and they brew potions, like the historical role of witches. And so one of the things I did add was that she smokes because she's a detective. I think detectives should smoke. It's just how it goes. But I couldn't put it in this one because it didn't become relevant. But she smokes her own blend of herbs that give her more subtle protections against spirits and demons, things like that. So it's like every single thing in here has like a little bit of lore and reason behind it. It's 5 years of work and 8 months on the script that I wrote, rewrote, then scrapped and totally rewrote, and then rewrote again. So a lot of work went into this one, and really hope to get it funded so you can enjoy.
Dude,
right
you're going to. Folks, make sure you check out Literature Devil's work. It looks great. I mean, I'm excited for you, man. I remember we had you on for the original, was it Dr. Alpha, right?
Yeah.
The Dr. Alpha, Miracle Child, and then my sequel, Dr. Alpha, Dead Man's Lullaby, which people really liked because I learned a lot of lessons by the time I wrote that one. People tend to like that one a lot more in general.
Now, folks, we have one more thing to tell you about. I keep talking about how I'm done with Stealing Solo 2, The Farce, Power of the Farce, not The Farce Awakens. This book is roughly the same size as the original Stealing Solo. It follows up the first book. If you've never heard of my book, Stealing Solo, it's about a group of disgruntled Star Wars fans who kidnap Harrison Ford and force him to remake Star Wars in their basement. This time, spurned on by the jealousy that Harrison Ford receives in his kidnapping, Mark Hamill kidnaps the kidnappers in an attempt to regain relevancy. It is a nut. He's a nut in this book. He's essentially the Joker. I have a couple Killing Joke homages. The book is dark literally. It's got a lot of dark humor, but it's also very funny, and it's got a lot of absurd shit. Like, for example, this is terrible to show off my phone, but like we have Dion as the green titty. That's terrible. I can't even show that. Hold on. Green titty monster. Let's see if that'll show up better. No, God, it's in full color too.
But that's
show
nightmare fuel.
Oh, that thing. Okay, it's a green titty monster. Oh, the return that Last Jedi.
The thing is,
the green
in
milk.
this story, to regain his relevancy, we have to remake that one. And so Dion will be the green milk monster. I'll be Rey, and Kendo is Kendo Ren. I wish this would show up better on camera because I haven't put this on my computer yet. These are from the colors, but like I have to dress up as Rey, and it's really unappealing. Guts out and everything, and Kendo Ren's hilarious. But folks, I'm really not trying to show this yet because I want to do a trailer and get everything presented. But this one's a lot of fun, and you'll be able to get a lot of cool stuff on the campaign. We're going to ship it worldwide. We're going to offer all kinds of perks, and I'm looking into custom-made figures, blind bag style. So be on the lookout for Stealing Solo 2 this year. This book, like I said, I'm done. That's why I took all these Tuesdays off to finish it. I wasn't hanging out with Maury or doing anything like that. I was actually working on this book each and every day. It's done. If you bought Wokebusters earlier in the year, you're like, dude, you already put out a book this year. Technically, yes, I did. But I wanted to get this story out too because I want people to come to me. Every year, we're going to have new books out. I write them, I draw them, I do it all. I do all the production. Literature Devil, I understand what you mean when this shit is expensive. These books are not cheap to do. Luckily, I can wear 2 hats and do most of the heavy lifting myself. But we're getting it colored professionally, then we're going to get our letterer on it, and like I said, this book will be done, probably 100% done before Halloween, and we'll have the campaign before that. And then all it is we're just waiting for it to get printed and shipped to you directly. So, I will have a better push, I will have a better pitch, and I will have more information for you guys in the coming weeks. But make sure you look out for the sign-up. I'm going to be dropping a generic sign-up list. I also have a ton of people who bought the first book that are going to get information about this book as well. But that's all.
And you still have a handful left of the first one that you can tack on for like a catch-up pack too, right? It'd be probably pretty limited. But
yes, there will be a couple catch-up packs. There will be a 2-pack where you can get the new book and the original book. Then there's going to be the Stealing Solo bundle, which is honestly, there are 14 of these. So you're going to want to get these because I have had Stealing Solo the box printed. And you're going to get, also, there is I don't have it in this office, but I have a really rare version of Stealing Solo. It's a sketch cover variant. All of that stuff's going to be available. So if you've never purchased any of these books,
I was backer number 1 on Wokebusters.
You were.
Just you wait.
You will be able to get, Andrew, a super rare, literally there are 14 versions of this box that exist. I'm not going to be taking it back to print because you talk about expensive shit, man. For the Phantom Menace edition, I sunk so much money into that to make sure we had, magnets, stickers, posters, shirts. We're bringing back the shirts, don't worry. But I don't want to keep throwing information out, you guys. I want to bring you some awesome world-class content this year. So the first book is a 6-figure book. Let's break that record. I got a number written down. I'll tell you that number. And I have all kinds of excellent stuff to bring you. We're doing every 100 books, a new tier, a new perk. Magnets, stickers, and, once we get to certain goals, I did tell the guys if we hit a really ridiculously high number, I would take the WCBS guys on a drinking trip to Europe. So we'll broadcast the whole thing. Yeah, we're talking that kind of shit because, we're going to do it world class, guys. So join us in the coming weeks for more Stealing Solo, The Power of the Farce. And then look out for Frankenfisher next year. I may or may not have already started that one. So, there will be autograph tiers this time, Adama. Don't worry. Everything that you love about campaigns, I've been doing the research. I'm not just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. I have gone back and looked at everything we sold from every campaign, and I figured the audience likes this, the audience likes that, and they want more of that. So we're here to please. That's what we always do here on WCBS. So Cosmic Vader, you want that Euro trip? I did tell the guys I'd take them to Amsterdam. All you got to do is help us get that out there. And even if you back it once or twice, and we always appreciate that, sharing helps. That's the one thing nobody remembers, is sharing helps big time. Share our video, share the stream, and we can reach the world. But, folks, ScriptDoctor, when's your next novel coming out?
I'll have to make something up on the fly here. But yeah, I'll do a Flash Gordon parody. Where what happens to Flash Gordon when he makes it into middle age and he's no longer the greatest hero in the universe. He's trying to relive his days of glory, traveling around.
Do you want to make that?
What's that?
Like, do you really want to make that?
Yeah, I actually have some really interesting stories, and I can cross it over with some other famous sci-fi titles. I could then rewrite the names for parody purposes, and it would be pretty good because I have a very dark story about what happened to the Robinson family from Lost in Space.
Just saying, man, if you ever want to work on something like that, hit me up. I have the time right now, and I'd love to do it.
Yeah, I'll whip something up and I'll send it to you. That could be pretty entertaining.
So, folks, thank you for spending your Tuesday night with us here on the channel. We have read all the super chats, I believe. We're all caught up, and we all have to get ready for a very early Wednesday morning. Andrew, Script, Literature Devil, Aaron, we know you're out there listening in the ether. Thank you guys for joining. Folks, this is just one step in our new, I won't even call it rebranding, but we're bringing you new stuff each and every week to the channel, and we have a new series of videos that are coming out really soon. So be on the lookout for those. I think my calendar says Friday will be the first of some new evergreen content here on the channel, because I don't really want to chase the news. I want to bring you world-class stuff that you can watch now, 5 years from now, and hell, when your kids are old enough, they'll watch it because they're world-class too. Their parents have good taste. But until next time, folks, thank you for watching. Be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other. .com